I'm fucking jealous, man. You over there coughing and smoking, and I damn near wish I could, but it's all good though.
Hey, hey man, that's classic pain right here. You know what I'm saying? The
True.
tree, the you know what I mean, the head covering, making sure my waves don't get fucked up. You know what I mean? They struggle waves right now, but they
Yeah,
gonna
let
they
them
gonna get
bake.
deep. Hey, look,
Damn,
you
man, you
see
gonna
Valor?
add insult to injury?
You see
God
Valor?
damn.
Um,
I'm in a
Like, don't
sub.
make it awkward for me, damn G. Look over there. Fuck.
I'm in a motherfucking sobriety sandwich out this bitch. I'm the only motherfucker sober right now. Shit.
man, hey, look,
He got the blunt. He got the bowl.
bowl.
Hold on. Blunt, bowl. God damn.
Yeah, and it's a fat. It's a. Hey, look, Valen. Oh, well, never mind. We maybe at the end of the stream. Yo, yo, yo.
What's good? Hold up, bro. Everybody got their cameras on. I'm gonna turn my camera on. Fuck with you here. What's happening, fellas? How y'all
What's
been?
going
All
on,
right.
man?
Hey, what's good, God?
Hey, hold up. Hey,
We gonna
hey.
call you Scene. I
Y'all,
don't
one of
know.
y'all tell me in the settings thing, I can change it from like my. No, I'm sorry. I gotta go to the audio real quick. I'm good. I just had to put it back on my headphones so I can hear y'all. Okay, now I'm good. Now I'm good. It was on my TV. What's
Oh,
good, y'all? What y'all been up to? I ain't seen y'all in a minute. None of y'all got them pull up at Virgo's hardly.
okay. Honestly, it's because whenever Virgo be streaming, most of the time I be at work.
I ain't it though, bro. Like he be catching me at some of the oddest hours. I gotta like, hey, bro, give me a second. I gotta go do this dumb shit when Virgo be streaming.
Yeah, but
Oh, we got some good news though. Ghetto Rev is coming up next One Piece break.
really?
Yeah, at
Okay.
least that's the bullshit he's slanging. So we gonna
Well,
see.
I mean, Virgo need to give me the invite to get to the witch call. I want we can talk One Piece later, but
Hey,
I'm in the
for the
original
time
screen
being,
cap for that.
the title of
Uh,
the stream is called
if,
Heroics or Villainy. What's the
eh,
difference?
eh,
Because when you look at it, right? If we want to take One Piece for example, Luffy, right? To some people,
he's a
Luffy's a
villain,
hero,
bro. Sorry, sorry.
but to other people, he's a villain because he's a pirate, right? Because his lifestyle is a pirate, even though he's an actual good person, but the shit that he does could be considered acts of villainy. He
Well, I
went,
mean,
oh, and he hit the GB.
oh,
yeah,
well,
that
yeah,
is a
bro. My
monster
bad, my
villain.
bad. Hey, I'll pull that off the camera. My bad.
No,
I
you
ain't know I
good.
was.
Look, you're good. We're all smoking except
All right, no, no, no. I just
We
feel
all
like twisting,
accept.
like on bet, bro. Like I just didn't feel like twisting, so like, yeah, I'm hitting the G, bro.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Like
But
I'll bring
any
up, bro. I ain't trying to run out my Dutchies. I've been smoking a little too much out of the Dutch lately. That tobacco bad for the lungs sometimes.
yeah, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to quit cigarettes. It's
Hey, man,
difficult.
I'm
But
being real with you. I'm falling back a little bit, but not by much.
all right, but yeah, so anyway, like I was saying,
Just
the
need a
topic of the stream and the reason for the stream is to really highlight perception. Me and Kata had a storm. I mean, a stream a couple of days ago talking about the different things that we as men have to go through in society
Mm.
and how our mental health is just severely lacking. Nobody cares about our mental health, for one.
Hey, man, why you bullshitting? I literally was just having a conversation with my old lady about like mental health, like my mental health, and like why I don't go a lot of times to try and deal with like the PTSD or the shit through the VA was because like these people would placate me or
Thank you for your
dope me
service.
up before they would like I appreciate it, bro. But like they would dope you up or they would placate you in a certain way so that you would get out of their way and they can move on to like the next man's. They wasn't genuinely concerned with like what you needed to be dealt with or how you needed to deal with it or like say the life things that came around the psychological issues. I mean,
Ex-
it might have changed now, but like that was my experience from like a decade ago, and I gave up trying or like genuinely working with them because like they gave me my check, they let me do me, and I get on about my business. But at the same time, I know I could have fixed a lot of things if I had a system that had been better work for me.
Well,
Hey man, you know what
to
they say? You can't wash every bad taste out your mouth. That shit ain't on you.
Yeah.
yeah, and then also and also onto that to that note, you know, a lot of times people don't realize how their freedom and the stuff that they enjoy comes at the cost of other people's,
Oh yeah. Like,
happiness, freedoms, liberties. Because I give you the reason, like I said, because again, we're talking about heroic civility, right?
mhm.
Now, the United States bombed, they set off a nuke and to what was it, Japan? No,
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the fat man and like the little something.
little brother or something like
Little
that.
bro, yeah. They it was supposed to be the bombs were supposed to be dropped on the coast and like hit in, but they overshot and land, like actually hit cities. And then there's the theory, like I believe that they was like, we gonna show you what you fucking with.
Come on, man.
That
America
was
is a
more
whole bunch of
America's
bullies.
tone at the time too.
I mean, like I was
Well,
about to say, America's a bunch of bullies. What are we known for? I mean, what is
I,
America as a country known
we
for?
are, we do. All right, I'm gonna see if I can properly word this without violating non-disclosures. We do export, in a sense, destability to regions so that we can provide security to those regions and then get resource control for providing that security for those regions.
Yep.
We're not the only ones who do this. We just happen to be the largest people, like group of people doing it collectively. So we're more like noticed doing it. It's not that everybody else doesn't do it. It's just we're more prominent because of our overall global presence.
Well, see, I disagree on that. I mean, I agree.
Oh
with
no,
what
it's
you're
not a matter of
saying.
disagreeing.
No,
You got to think
listen.
of it like
It's a
Chappelle
different
said.
take on it. So I get where he's coming from. It's like
No.
he doesn't disagree, but he also like he has a different way of viewing it.
Well, see, what I was about to say is I don't disagree with what you said at all. What I was about to say is I don't even think that we're necessarily the largest at it. I just think that it's
Oh no,
also
China
part
is
of
right
the.
now.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's also just propaganda to keep us propped up and keep Americans placated.
Oh yeah,
for lack of a better word.
And not just that,
Oh.
but at a certain point, people like at a certain financial level, people don't think of this shit in terms of like country lines or continental divide. You know what I mean? It's just this sector of money and this sector of money. You know what I mean?
I've seen that. Yeah, like segregating with money.
Yeah. It's the world in essentially a caste system where you have the lowest of the low in like third world countries where they ain't got even clean water and shit. And then you go up from there, and that shit and that's the way people in the higher echelon of financial whatever, that's how they see shit. Like this idea that like America exports this, or China exports that. That's I feel obviously this is not. I feel that's our limited perspective because we can't even see the board they're playing on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think part of it comes down to
I'm sorry, my fault.
and I'm high enough to forget. Lord help me.
Hey, take your time. We've all been there.
What Chappelle said about it was all the pimp's money.
Yeah,
it's that exact situation, just like 1,000 times, extrapolated. It's what we did to Hawaii. Hawaii is the perfect example of that shit. Like Hawaii is the absolute perfect example of that.
I can give you a better example would be Guam. Guam has been literally like they have been given everything but acknowledgement as a state. They have to provide soldiers, National Guard. They have to freaking provide all kinds of resources. Puerto Rico is anything that is the Philippines. Anytime it's a U.S. territory. Now in America, they're always here. Oh well, they get all the benefits of being an American without paying any of the taxes. No. They get all of the benefits of being treated like an American citizen without any of the representation to have any say. There's a big fucking difference.
I learned that one later in life. No fooling. That one punched me.
It's just enough for you to be counted, but it's not. But you're not important enough for your count to matter.
Let's see if I can explain it. Rich black folk in America. That's probably like the way they look at these states. You're good enough, you're wealthy enough, you're seen as out there and away from all these other like lower things, but at the end of the day, you're still not good enough to be seen as fucking equal. Like I trust me, I know. Like
for sure. But see, and the thing that pisses me off, right, You got Republicans after this whole the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago,
Trump,
right?
yeah,
Whatever.
shit with that, yeah.
Trump's whatever the fuck. We you know what I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
can't
the
say the
little resort
names,
shit. Yeah, I know you.
but now they're talking about defund the police. But where were they when they infiltrated the Black Panthers and destabilized the black community by
No,
using the
you know, where
CIA
were they when the
to
CIA was
influate
distributing crack?
crack
Like, what's
cocaine?
up, bro? Where were they when they in San Francisco pushing AIDS and monkeypox? Where were they when they were over there in Africa, literally paying these people to go to war with each other so they could come in and steal all the resources while they were just, minding each other's business that they shouldn't have in the first place? Like, we have done a lot of dirtball stuff on the back end.
So on that, so when you look, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
I want to say, like, people look at it like we've done a lot of dirtball shit and all this, but I like to look at it like this, right? If our country wasn't doing it, if we didn't have the access to do it, and the other country had those type of resources and access that we had, would they not do the same thing from the same position? Do we act like we're holier than thou, or that they're holier than us just because they're not able to do what we're able to do, and therefore they don't have the access to those things? And just because they don't have those access to it, they don't do it. We have the mindset that they wouldn't do something like that. It's not that they wouldn't, it's that they don't have the ability to. So a lot of times that we have a way that we look at it like, oh, we're a superpower, we're taking advantage of people. We also have to look on the back end that if we weren't in the position we were in, we'd be just where everybody else was. So it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes when you look at it from a global standpoint versus like a societal standpoint where we're used to being interacting with each other, and we have in America a more, I want to say, civilized society. Like we talk about things like we have to work together and live together because we all have to like basically live under a certain set of rules. So at the end of the day, we can't go too far in too many directions before shit like snaps.
Control.
Right, it's the control. Well, I think that like for the majority of what we have in politics now, it's not so much control of like society's direction, but control over the power of the people themselves. Because
don't get me wrong.
Go ahead, brother.
Don't get me wrong. What you're saying is correct, right? I get that, and I'm sensible enough to know that is the lesser evil. But that goes into another topic that that's a perfect bridge to what we were gonna say. Who's to say what's evil, and who's to say what's good?
Historically, Victor.
Yes, well, it's his story, history. Mm-hmm. But the favorite quote I ever had to go off of this one is like why I say you have to look at it like this. You kill a man, you're a murderer. You kill 20 people, you're a serial killer. You kill 100 people, you're a hero. You kill 1,000 people, you're a founder of a country and a legend for life. You're damn near a deity.
Well, see, the thing is, my whole problem with that, right, and with America is we act like, and Americans act like, by and large, that they're so much holier and better and holier than thou, so much better than these second, third world countries, and and
not necessarily
who don't have certain things that we have that's in place to protect us in certain social economics, what I mean, structures.
Well, I think that's a misconception and misconstrued. There are pieces like a lot of times their idea of a third world country is a place that doesn't have running water. There's like people don't understand how developed the modern world actually is, and just like what level of like income that they're actually at on the global scale. In their mind, here in America, I'm impoverished if I'm in Section 8 or I'm in like assisted housing or anything like that, right? But I have air conditioned, running water. I have a place to keep my food cold. I have access to amenities that are like down the street from me as far as like grocer or like, sustainable food ability. I know there's like sustainable work within my area, even if it is low income work. But that right there is upper middle class to almost 40% of the entirety of the world. And that's even with people that have the same standard of living that we would have for middle and upper class.
Yeah. But see, like I said, my thing is simply if you were trying to distract people from the shit that you're doing in Amsterdam, right?
Right.
What would be the best way to go about that? The best way to go about that would be to divide the country that you're in, wherever you at. divide everybody in there, so
Divide
everybody's
and
fighting
conquer.
against each other, so they don't have time to fight to help try to fight the inequalities that we are portraying. I mean, that we are actively a part of because we're tax-paying citizens who are paying the quote by and hold on, I'm sorry, the the idea, right? The idea is we have a government that does the right thing to protect us and take care of us. The
Or that they're
application
always
is that
working in your
military
interest. Yeah. Keep going.
is gonna have to do things that are quote unquote shady, which is why they have black ops, which is
I
why
mean,
they have certain things that are redacted. It's a reason why the military it's
or
its
they
own
do
separate police force.
high value target snatching grabs. You come down with the rope, you come into the compound, and they come back up you with the rope. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a reason you do this though, because you have people like that they'll throw acid in little girls' faces for reading books. So like at the time, like there are certain values and standards globally that we enforce as like a global society that make America get out there and do certain things though.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at it historically, if you have somebody that's captured or that's a political prisoner, right?
Yeah, POWs is a fuck shit. Admit one.
Right? Historically, if those are of Caucasian or high value targets, meaning like people that are really high ranking in whatever
Yeah,
field that they're in.
yeah. Be a private or like a sergeant. They're not coming for you. Be like a captain or a major. You might get somebody coming for you.
Mm-hmm. Or not even necessarily them coming for you directly, but it's ways that the U.S. government does things without doing things. If
Or
you
like
understand what I
sanctions,
mean.
or like would retaliate on your behalf. You mean?
Mm-hmm. Or not, or like, or even whatever, or even like sending black ops teams or whatever to destabilize their country. I mean, hey, look, all I'm saying is if they can destabilize the black community in the country entirely, in the entire country,
They can
by
do it more
putting
than
it in
that.
key places and key infrastructures by being targeted and destroyed from within. Well,
All right,
we don't have time to fight against the oppression that we have in legislation
yeah.
because we're all going against each other.
Hey, something you just like brought up, guy. Hey, for real, bro. That whole thing right there about like the destruction of the community. All right, you understand like when we had like the Revolutionary War and they had the Civil War and shit like that. One of the most like hostile, like anti-government regions was like the Appalachian area, predominantly Virginia, right?
Mm.
How do you keep a predominantly self-sustainable, non-government, anti-government like society? How do you destroy that and make them basically break them and make them dependent on you? Destroy their education, right? Destroy their education, destroy their access to clean, like certain like facilities, destroy their access to economic outlets, then isolate them into a singular region and cut off trade from them, then propagandize that they're a bunch of hillbillies that like basically are cousin fuckers and stay off in the woods, so that you basically undermine their value in society and undermine how they're viewed in society. You literally take an entire region of your country and make people think that if they're from this region, they're uneducated, barefoot, like a Hicks, all because they're not down for your cause and they resisted you like maybe 100 years ago. And you still keep this up because you know the second that they start getting their feet up under them, they're now a resistance or a pushback that you can't handle.
Excuse me, I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be
They've
right
been
back.
doing that with black people since black people been invented.
I mean, yeah, but you gotta understand. So I am Native American, Black, and slave Irish, right? Like when I say slave Irish, it is completely different than like Irish people that you see over there, right? The reason I say slave Irish, these are the people that they stole from like the country over there and then like tried to breed out of existence. And when that didn't work, they sold the rest of them off to the fucking world. You get what I'm saying? They're not the people that like Mick whatever. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't got last names. We got whatever the fuck was gay. And like mine, I'm Cherokee, right? So like my last name is Laird. It's like different than my actual last name. I had to take on a westernized name because the tribe now is part of we no longer have our country. We're now part of like an entire new society. So they integrated in. So like where I'm at, like my whole existence, my entire genetic makeup wouldn't exist if they didn't like, the colonism and the slavery and all the stuff that happened. So like I could be mad at that shit, but at the same time, I would not be here without that shit. So it's still hard for me to adjust.
I mean, but see,
how bad can I be?
Who's to say that?
Who's the system?
Well, question, but who's to say that wouldn't be the case? I mean, who's to say, right, that just because you didn't get into certain situations, I mean, your ancestors weren't put in certain situations, that you wouldn't be mixed with certain races or genetic, with certain certain genes, right? We don't know because we can't, we'll never know for one thing.
Yeah, there's unless it's like physically alternate realities, we're not gonna know like how history
exactly. This isn't DC. We're not in the multiverse. So what I'm trying to get at is, if we always have this mindset where if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be who I am, and that's true because it goes to my larger theme is perspective. If you perceive that you're the hero, then everything that you do will be justified, and everybody that goes against you will be quote unquote the villain, right?
Correct. If you believe that you are morally just and that everyone around you is morally unjust, in your mind you are justifying your actions as heroic actions.
And thank you for bringing that up. I don't know who was going to say it. I thought Valen would say it, but what is what's morality? What makes morality? What is morality?
I think.
Go ahead, brother. Now I'm going to go last. I want to let y'all go, and then I'm going to pick up on the back end.
Okay, yeah. And me personally, I'm starting to believe that like morality is really subjective. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like what I eat may not make the next person shit. You know what I'm saying?
What you listening to right now?
Who can you mute your mic? Whoever got that? What's it? But what was you saying?
No, my fault. But like, it's kind of like what I might eat, it may not make the next man shit, if that makes sense. And it's kind of like what affects you differently what affects you might affect somebody else differently, right? Because like he was saying earlier, okay, let's say in reference to like if I was to kill somebody, right? All right, now if I was to just go right out and kill somebody, then I could be considered a bad person in some eyes or in most people's eyes. But if I killed somebody because they were harming or they were in the process of getting ready to kill somebody else, even though I still killed somebody, does that necessarily justify the situation? I mean, because even though I killed somebody, it was in defense of me killing somebody. So I guess it all depends.
Defending somebody?
Well, now, hold on. If you are taking a life out of anger and hostility, I could, like, from my moral standpoint, yeah, you're committing an act of taking a life. But what you're doing is not taking a life. You are preventing a life from being taken, and it's being forced at the end of someone else's life. You're being forced into a situation where you have to take a life. You're not willingly taking that life. So there's a different morality question when you're talking about like life for a life or taking a life when defending a life.
Well, see, but that's
just me and my morality, though.
Yeah, no, I get it. But see, let me give you a question. Let me give you a scenario then. And using what you just said,
all right.
If you had one person on the track
and the 5 people on the track,
and
I would not touch the lever at all. I'll leave it up to fate to decide, because if that's the way it is, it's not my place to sit out here and then just.
Well, okay, but I'm saying not even that. I mean,
well, no.
If you had, I'm saying like you have one family member on one side, right? Somebody you really love, you really couldn't see yourself without.
Scenario.
And then
I touch that lever. The second I touch the lever, it becomes my responsibility, and I made the decisive action over who lives and who dies. If I do not do anything, it is now left up to fate, and I just have to deal with the consequences thereof. The second I take action, everything after that is now on me because it's the consequences of my action. Simply because I am there and observing does not mean that the actions fall on me.
Well, 3 things. 1, The deeds of the devil are done in the hands of undoing. That's what is it? The devil's work is in idle hands. By doing nothing, you're doing and letting evil happen. You are just as evil. That's a philosophy, whatever. But two things after this, you're misrepresenting the trolley. But for the one you're saying, if that's my son, I am without. If it's like my son or wife or family member, like on the track, and then it's like five fuckers I don't know.
Wait, are you saying like the morality of like way of life I care about versus of a life I do not care about?
Well, I didn't finish. What I was gonna say is one life versus 5 lives that's gonna help humanity. Like, I mean, like you got somebody like Elon Musk or somebody like basically high value people, like very important people to to life being sustained for everybody, or saving somebody that you really care about.
I'm gonna choose the person I care about at the end of the day, because like me, morality wise, I know that I care more about that which is around me, that which I care for, that which I can touch out and reach, and that would like that around me that will be what I have to deal with. Like, yeah, I might worry about the future and all this and society and all that, but if I say these people, they're gonna do all that. But what's the point of being in that society or enjoying that society at the cost of the person I care about?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Because the hero thing to do would be to.
And that's why I'm a damn
nigga. But listen. What I'm saying is, and I think we should need to let Valen and Kato talk more.
I'm sorry, yeah, I need to mute myself. Y'all been going too much.
No, you cooking though, bro. You cooking.
What I'm saying is, because that's how you feel, right? And I'm not saying I would do anything different, but I'm saying because that's how we feel about that subject, right?
Right.
And who's to say that the people that's on the other side don't have people that they care about and they love and they rely on them?
Yeah, well, fate. Well, the fucked up thing in that, fate put me at the lever. It didn't put their family at the lever. It put me at that lever for my family.
Okay, so if the situation was reversed, right? So if the situation was reversed, do you feel some type of way towards the person who saved, who pulled the lever? If you were a family member of the person who chose to save their family instead of yours or anybody else's,
I mean, depending on how you empathize.
I mean, shit, not immediately.
I guess.
Not immediately.
Like me personally, I ain't empathizing with shit. At the end of the day, that's my peoples, and if you cost me my peoples, you just gonna have to see me. You gonna have to follow behind them. But like the situation is what it is. You chose. Just deal with the consequences of the actions you chose.
But that goes into what I was about to say though, because at the end of the day, what you just described, right, is exactly how is a drug dealer's logic or a hitman's logic. If I send somebody to kill, if I send somebody to kill you, let me finish. Let me say what I'm about to say. If I send somebody to kill you, and you kill them, you definitely have to die because you killed somebody that I care about.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's different.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna act like I'm not a. At the end of the day, to most people in society, would be morally corrupt.
Yeah, but Valen,
the last thing I want to say, as far as the murder point, it depends, because I've been in that situation, and generally there's a point, unless it's like guns involved and like weapons and shit. But if you're just fighting somebody, and you know that there's a point where that fight has already ended, but you kept being violent because of how angry you were. And you yourself know where that point is, where that point was, and how far past it you went. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To led to this person's death. So if you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, I tried to stop myself before this, then good for you. But if you know the truth in yourself that you had the opportunity to stop and you chose to take this life, then it's murder no matter the reason.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you at the end of the day, to take a life, you have to finish the job. You have to see it all the way through, and you have to make the decision that you do make to see it through. You at any time and point when you stop in the process, they can live. If someone is dead, you did something to that guaranteed your action made sure that they no longer function.
I feel you. Well, I want to let Katie, you ain't really been saying anything.
All right, no, you good. But all right, but let me ask y'all a question. Okay, let's say you have a loved one, right? You have a loved one who's, I wouldn't necessarily say terminally ill per se, but they have a let's say they have cancer, and it's a 30% chance that they can pull through. But if they do pull through, they might be a vegetable, or they're gonna pretty much suffer for the rest of their life, right? And they're on life support. Now, would you pull the plug to end their suffering, or would you want to prolong their life per se? So even though they might have a chance to pull through, they're still gonna suffer. They still gonna go through like the mental and the physical and the emotional, suffering and pain that comes along with it.
All right. Now, do they have they had like the ability to discuss with you whether or not they wanted to stay vegetated?
That's what I wanted to ask too. I wanted to ask that because that really impacts my answer.
You talk about as far as like if they was to pull through.
Well, I'm saying like if they were putting that. Well, what I'm saying is if you and that person discussed, well, if you were in a vegetated state, would you want me to hold out hope, or would you want me to, let you ease your suffering?
Oh, no, they didn't discuss it. It's just, let's say a car accident. Let's say there was in a car accident.
That's why I was like, you gonna hate myself.
And let's say that there was in a car accident, and you all never had the opportunity to be like, all right, well, if something would happen to me, I want you to pull the plug or what have you. It was just a sudden accident, boom, boom, boom. And now you faced with the decision of, I can pull the plug and end their suffering, or they can pull through and they will have the all the pain and the trauma for the rest of their life. Like they won't be able to walk. They're quadriplegic. You know what I'm saying?
All right, before we answer, can we hear your take on it? Or does anybody want to go before him? Like, I didn't mean to like.
No, you good. I mean, honestly, because I think it's gonna be. I think it's a multi-layered answer.
Yeah.
I would want to. I kind of want to hear. Were you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to hear the first part because I missed it.
No. Oh yeah. No. He wanted. Go ahead and.
I just step out. I got kids.
Oh no. Do you think? But no. What I was saying is pretty much. All right. Let's say you had a loved one, right? And your loved one was in a car accident, and you all never had the opportunity to discuss. Okay, if I'm in the vegetative state, I want you to pull the plug or not, because it was just sudden. You know what I'm saying? The thought never really crossed your mind. It was something that it wasn't really thought of. So they're laying in a hospital bed, and you know what I'm saying, they plugged up to the machines on life support, and there's about a 30% chance. It's not even a 50-50 chance. It's less than 50-50 that they can pull through. Now, you can pull the plug and end their misery, or if they do survive, then they won't be able to walk.
This is a fact, like the doctor's telling you, like, hey, they'll make it, but like this is all you're gonna deal with when they make it.
Yeah, it's pretty much like they like a living vegetable.
I got you. I got trapped in their own body, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. The only thing they can do is like cry.
All right.
Yeah, that's some Johnny get your gun bullshit. Well, and I pull that plug and leave it to Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well. For me, like I said, I would honestly in my situation, because I am in a long-term relationship. I would want to discuss it with her parents, but to see their take on it and her family, just to see what they would want to do. But me personally, I would want to end her suffering, because every moment that she's in pain, I'd be in pain.
There you go.
So I would. So that's what I would want her. I would hope that she would do for me if it was at some point where I'm dead. I'm just alive. I'm dead, but I'm breathing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to live like that.
Well, that's not living. I told my wife, don't let me be dead and you be forever broke, just so I had 16 like 6 more months attached to some tubes or some shit.
Yeah.
Like we got a life and children.
Right?
Go take care of that.
This is where I genuinely want to like fall back onto it and think that I would look at it and hope they would look at it the same way. If I care for and love this person, I know that they're going to spend the rest of their life in a amount of pain that is just not livable, or that they're not going to be able to experience life at all. I feel that I would be an evil person to force them to be in that state just because I selfishly wanted to keep them around.
That's extremely selfish. I was glad somebody said it. It's extremely selfish.
Respect. Yep.
Do you hate my answer?
So I just wonder where people who justify, if you're in a life of crime and somebody tries to kill somebody, that they was just a random person just minding their business, and you tried to kill them. If they ended up by somehow, some way getting the drop on that person and killing them, you can't be mad at the person who killed them
for defending themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you can't be mad at somebody like, bro, they ran up on him. Like, he chose what happened.
Can't be mad is the wrong. You shouldn't be, because you
can. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're right.
So, what I'm saying is, shouldn't be, but people do it every day, and they just kill somebody else's son, a cousin, a brother, a friend, because their cousin, or brother, or friend, or cousin got shot. And then that shit just escalates and continues, and nobody fucking stops killing anybody because everybody loves being angry, because anger fucking fuels.
Because it's a catch-22.
Yep. Anger fuels the fucking, fuels the struggle. Like, nothing gets you, in my opinion, nothing gets you through the hungry nights, the fucking lonely times, than letting that anger just build up, and you just fucking keep hype on that shit. Focus it into whatever project you're doing, and just move forward. Like, that's, my wife gets mad because when I do a project, I sound like 18 sailors cussing in a fucking echo chamber, just all fucking shits and Jesus and motherfuckers and every word you should never say in front of children. And I'm like, I'm just building a fucking, bookshelf, but that's how I focus my energy and shit. I be cussing, I be mad. I feel like it's not like I'm throwing shit around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I relate so well.
It's just my words that is outlandish and shit.
But what I mean is, beat the living fuck stick out of you.
Yeah, right.
But just random things that don't mean a sense.
But when I say that to say, if you are with a woman, right, and the woman, the type of woman that you are with, is a loudmouth, brash, I'm gonna get all in your face, spit on you, do whatever the fuck I want to do to you, to disrespect you, emasculate, say all types of shit. And the moment you do anything to her, now me and you gotta fight, or I'm about to snub and sneak diss you every time chance I get, and all that. That's what I'm saying. People like that do that make no sense to me.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe the women just the pussy that good to them. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can say to justify letting somebody treat you in that kind of manner.
I mean, we all had some pussy that made us do some shit.
Who you telling?
That's I think if there's any universal truth, a man can look another man in the eye, but listen, the pussy was on several different points. So I fucked up. And every dude would be like, you know what? It's one of those not you can't be mad. You shouldn't be, even if you are mad, because you've been there before. You've done the same thing yourself. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get that, but what I'm saying is the stuff that I did when I was 10, when I was 12, 13, 14 is not the stuff that I did when I was 21, 22, 23.
Is that
feel what I'm saying? I mean, I only mean to say that if you're not growing as a person, if you're still doing the same old stuff that you were doing when you were 15, and you're 30,
you just didn't grow up, bro.
Yeah, you wasted 15 years.
Exactly. It's a problem.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, I
that's
used
real.
to I used to go out and machine gun punch. I mean, I'm talking gumu no Gatlin, the fucking brick walls, because I couldn't punch somebody in the face when I wanted to.
Hey man, I never could hit something that couldn't hit back. I never understood that one. Like when you have rage and frustration, I understand throwing things in frustration, but I never understood hitting things in frustration.
Because sometimes for some people, when you punch something, it's a release.
I mean, yeah, I save until somebody like made me snap off, but now I don't do that, and I guess I can understand what you mean. Yeah, if you don't have somebody to snap off on, then you're gonna snap off on something.
Well, it's not even that you don't have anybody to snap off on. It's the fact that okay, I could snap off on you, I could punch you, I might even win the fight, but I know in retaliation you're gonna kill my whole family. Am I gonna fight that person?
Yeah, you're right, man. Because everything gonna escalate. Everybody extra just because you catch that one, you think you now gotta go get the gun.
Exactly.
So I get you on down with that.
So you know, at 15, well, I mean, I can't even say that. You know, at 10 years old, you're not worried about somebody going to get the gun after they take an ass with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Well, unless they in like Chicago or some shit, then you really gotta worry about everything.
Now,
I mean, of course. I mean, I'm from Philly, man. So obviously in that situation, but I mean, just like in general.
Yeah,
what everybody was saying.
Yeah. I get what you're talking about, though, bro.
Now, all right. Now, me personally, when I was a kid, I was a motherfucking savage. You know what I'm saying? Like it was to the point as in, I was one of those type of kids who would cry first, but after I finished crying, like I'm willing to pick up me and my brother used to get to fighting like often, right? And he'll hold me down, and after he'll let me up, I'm trying to get the biggest butcher knife, or I'm trying to get a gun, even though we ain't had any bullets in it. I'm getting the gun and I'm pointing it, I'm clicking it, like I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you, or like I'm trying to kill him, like. But it's I don't know. It was just some image. It was just like I was a very angry kid. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's one thing to be angry. It's another thing to be rageful and have no outlet.
I think that's what it was.
For all the horrible shit, at least I can it's fucked up to say I did have an outlet because I was in homes, so that made everybody an outlet. You know what I mean? Like there was no oh, I love this person, I don't want to hurt
on. Hey, it's like, bro, I don't know you for a can of paint.
Like I got all these feelings I can't possibly process or understand, and now that's your problem.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. See, me, I don't know. I guess I was like the opposite, where because I know how dangerous I can be when I'm really rageful, when I'm really basically how Hulk is. You know, when he Hulk form, you just you might be able to beat up Bruce, but when Hulk come out, you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's I leaned into that shit. I was like, look how much I can do with this.
At certain points, I mean, on my first offense, I was facing 15 years.
Hey,
and I was at 11.
Hey, props for not getting fucked by the man, bro.
And I was at 11. You know, so and that was, like I said, that was my first offense. Mind you, before I even got locked up, they called the cops on me 99 times in less than 6 months.
The fucking
99 times because I would run away.
Well, I got a different end up, bro. Like, I'll see if I can put it proper. They would follow my vehicle around to the point that when because I got in shit and I left out Earth. When I first deployed, I was like, it was 3 months after I turned 18. I was already in another country, right? But because my vehicle parent was so known, my grandfather pushing my vehicle, the cops stop him. They're like, oh, they see who was driving. Like, oh, we thought it was somebody else, and just let him be, right? But it followed this man around for 3-4 days because it's my car.
Yeah.
All right. I come back.
It was to the point where they knew my name.
I get myself together, right? I get the spot I'm in right now. I've been here less than a year, bro. They kicked my door. They served a warrant on my property without like without notifying me, the homeowner, on the motherfucker here, right? Woke me up out of my sleep, put me in cuffs, told me they wouldn't let me out of cuffs till they could search my shit. I let them go ahead, right? They came in with unmarked evidence bags. I want you to understand, unmarked evidence bags. You don't let evidence bags leave without the case number on them. So like,
I want you to really concentrate.
what the fuck just happened?
Okay, there it is. No, I was trying to see who's
watching The Simpsons. I know
who's watching The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's me. All right, let me turn it down right quick.
Yeah, I was trying to. But
no, but like I was saying, right? I got my spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less than a year after getting this spot here, they came kick my doors in, came in with unmarked evidence bags, and wouldn't let me go till they said they could search my shit. Didn't find nothing, but the simple fact of that they was able to violate like that, and there was no way I could really retaliate in the system over here around me because the good old boy system real. So like, motherfuckers don't understand, like the law ain't always your friend, but it ain't like I don't respect the system and what they do. I understand like they got to keep the peace. They got to catch motherfuckers out here like snapping people's cap, but they don't need to be harassing certain people the way that they do. And I think it's not so much the people that's enforcing as much as the people that give them the laws to enforce and the powers that they give them. But I want to hear y'all take on like the whole thing about like the way the system actually do people, or like, do you think that we've come better or we gotten worse with the system and the way we got it? Because
that's
in some instances, yeah, like some instances, I feel like we made progression, and there's other times like I realize this is still legalized slavery.
That's you pretty much hit it on the head. That's all it is. And honestly, it's not really a like y'all was saying earlier. I don't now sometimes it may be perceived as a race issue, but like I strongly believe, or if I strongly it's like a caste system, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whether you're black, white, purple, hey,
yeah, and then they come out with the whole like, well, we keep him in. All right, prime example of like what you talk about, like caste.
Go ahead.
Okay. You said something, goddamn?
No, I said I disagree with y'all, but I'll let you finish.
Well, no. I was gonna say like I'll give you an example of what I was talking about because I think you like misconstruing what I'm talking about, right? I understand that there is like racial bias in the legal system, but what I'm talking about is like the way they use race to divide people is no longer like they used to like red line. They used to segregate in a certain way. Like, mind you, I came up in an area where like when they talk about like the wrong side of the tracks, they literally like moved everyone that was of a certain ethnicity or a poverty level to the wrong sides of these set of train tracks of the downtown areas. You get what I'm saying? Like, poverty is real, but the majority of it came from them using race to segregate and create those impoverished areas. I understand about that, right? But I think a lot of what we have now is when shit goes sideways or they're doing a bunch of shit, like government's doing stuff that they don't want us to pay attention to, like bailing out banks or doing all this other stuff. When we really start catching mind to these things, that's when you start seeing like a heightened focus on racial tensions that you normally do not see.
Well, not even just racial tensions. Honestly, I would say racial tensions was, we all know racism exists. Yeah, we all know racism is a thing. What I mean is, you're not wrong in what you're saying, but I mean I think you're thinking too small with it. What I mean, I
could be. I ain't gonna lie to that one.
What I mean is because it's so much more than just the classes. It's the powers that be. The way that this in the amendment in the Constitution right now, it's still written that we are still, as black men, 3/5 of a man.
Yes, but no, hold on. No, the Constitution was ratified. I think that was in 2016, like it was early. It was a little bit into the second part of Obama's presidency because they got the official apology for slavery from Congress around the same time.
Yeah, but
it has been ratified, but it hasn't been like how they notarized and put in the law and all that. Mm-hmm. Like they ratified the little thing, like they did the whole little process, but they never finished the process. They just did it to placate people.
But that's what and that goes back to what I was saying. because at the end of the day, yes, as the times change, people change, and certain people die out. What I'm simply saying is certain people influence certain generations, and
Yeah.
certain things may not be as open and out in the open like like it used to be, but redlining still exists. They
I mean,
just
the
do it
Klan is
by
real, brother.
a larger scale now. They'll move the council seat so that if a white official is running, or an official that's running something that's a Caucasian you know guy running something in a black city, or whatever, or Hispanic city, basically trying to get it so all of the white people can move together, and it's a
Yeah,
upper class,
gentrification. I know what you
mhm,
mean.
you know what I'm saying, and but it still exists. It's just they just do it differently now. They just put a Starbucks here,
Yeah, and then like
then they a
slowly
Publix
integrate the
there.
area with certain little businesses that are a little more high end, so therefore they get like a little more security, or they price people out of it so they get like a certain level of income or a certain type of people. Even if they have that income, they're like, well, this doesn't qualify you, that doesn't qualify you, and then slowly but surely they push them out of the area.
Well, see, because if you're used to be in an area where it's a whole bunch of Targets, 7-Elevens, Wawas, Sitgos, and a whole bunch of
Yeah,
access to a whole lot of stuff, and then they start slowly but surely bringing in a Publix
hell yeah,
or a
I saw
Sam's
that.
Club or a BJ's, places you have to
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
pay
more
to
higher end
shop
shit.
at.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because that gets rid of certain classes of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just necessarily that because even as somebody who's not even white, like you and Valen, and even though that you're not necessarily Caucasian, just because you look Caucasian, you'll get certain benefits of the doubt that I won't get because I look my
Privileges.
you know what I'm saying. So, and it's not even necessary. I wouldn't even say it's a privilege. I would just say it just shows you how hated we as black people are.
no,
If it's something
And
somebody
that's
else
how
whenever
didn't
deep
get,
rooted
it's a
it is.
privilege.
That
hey,
hatred
bro,
is.
I'm gonna be real with you. That's to an extent until you like take some black people in like some parts of Africa, no matter where you come from in America, you're not welcome because you're seen as like one of like the losers of the fight that got sold the fuck off. Like,
Well, see,
man,
the thing is,
there's some of them that'll accept you and say like, hey, yeah, what's up? But they still people. You got the wrong fucking ears from them. They'll chop you up. I know. I've been around
mhm.
these people.
Oh yeah, for sure. But see, the thing what people don't realize is if we're talking globally, that's different. Where if
Yeah,
we're
in
talking
America, I'm
Africa,
with you on that. Yeah,
Africa's main draw to to make money is slave trading, blood diamonds. I mean, diamonds and oil and
and
minerals
conflict, brother.
and,
Lots of
and
conflict.
conflict. And that's how they, and wars. That's literally how they survive because they're so rich in minerals and in gold and in all this other stuff. And but their currency, their quote unquote, I mean, their version of their US dollar is so low on the totem pole. Mexico got some of the best resources.
Afghanistan
That's
was
why it's
very
a
resource heavy, but like you look at the rupee or like the Afghan dollar, like hold on, I think never mind. I was about to dig it out. I got an actual like it says the Afghanistan Bank on like DA Afghanistan the Afghanistan Bank on their little like the what do they call it, the Taliban currency, right? Whenever like they took over and it was like the new thing, the ruple or whatever, kind of like what they have in like Pakistan and India, rupee, ruple, whatever. The value of that money just went out the window, right?
uh-huh.
They did not back the rupee by the resources that they had in the country, right? They backed the rupee by the fact that they were going to sell these resources to other countries and they got loans from a World Bank to build up that country. Most people don't understand that a majority of the stuff that they see in the built up nations is not because they're using their resources, but because they're literally selling the rights to their country to like the global, like elites that own a majority of like systems. So there are certain pockets where you do see areas where they're better living, like standard wise as far as access to things, but the overall like what they have, like what their value of their money, like you're talking about things like that, is just not the same Because look at Mexico. They're very well built up for a long time during like NAFTA and back in like the 90s, the early 2000s. I'm positive that they had a bunch of manufacturing down there that built a bunch of that place up, right? But at no point in time with them building up that place did the value of their currency increase with it. Like, that's the issue, is because the dollar we have is not based off of gold, it's based off of petrol, and we own all kind of access to oil around the world.
Mm-hmm. And because we can afford to outsource everything.
Well, I mean, we do it now with China knowingly and willingly doing like slave labor and like genocides and like all kinds of like literal like we had issues with what they were doing with like Hitler and the Jews and all the stuff with World War II to the point the whole world went to war over it. The atrocities that are happening are even worse now in China. They're literally harvesting people's organs. They're literally segregating out entire like populace, like gene pools are like being rooted out, and nobody's saying anything because hey man, I like my good new iPhone, and I ain't about to fuck that shit up.
Well, I mean, okay, because I'm gonna say something that's controversial, right? When you look at statistics, women outnumber men 10-1, right?
Maybe
so for every one man, so for every 2 men, right, there's 20 women. Out of those 20 women, we as Americans practice monogamy, right? One wife, one girlfriend, that type of stuff. If those 2 guys decide that we don't want any of them women, that's 20 women, and that's 20 potential women that could give birth and continue to have kids and have a legacy that are now assed out. And if you have an agenda to push it so everybody is just doing whatever the fuck they want to do, and nobody has any grounds in reality, then it's so much easier to control the population and destroy certain gene pools, like you were, going back to what you were saying.
Excuse me, I'll be right back, y'all.
So I think it all goes into a larger picture. And I think sometimes we as people can only see the picture that's in front of us, because the idea is nice. It's like, equal rights. Like if you're gay, nothing should be wrong. Nothing's wrong with that. In my opinion, I don't really give a fuck what you do, because who you fuck ain't gonna make me come. You feel me? What I have a problem with is simply trying to warp young minds into thinking that something that is okay if you choose to do it
is okay for everyone, and that's a norm.
Exactly.
It's a given, not a choice. Like, this is my issue, right? We live amongst ourselves with the idea that everybody is free to believe whatever they want to believe. You are free to be whoever you want to be. Where we draw the line is you forcing that onto me to make me acknowledge that what you believe is something I have to believe. And my issue is that there are people that say, like, are coming now that are basically the same way that these hardcore, like, Christian conservatives from like the 50s and 60s, not like the book burning types, that are literally like, you're going to believe what we say believe because that's the only way to believe. Not that you can believe what you want. You can live the lifestyle you want. Just don't do it around me and do it in your own little area. Same way. Just I'm going to live my life over here and you live your life over there. At the end of the day, we can work together and do what we got to do, but that ain't got to, like, we ain't got to deal with each other on a personal basis. We can live in this country without all that. And I feel like we're losing a little bit of like the pushback that we used to have with like that concept. Or am I just like being extra for the sake of being extra?
No,
sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I thought your mic was muted because you were saying something and they couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, it was muted for a second. It really comes down to what's been happening more than in, I think, any of our lifetimes. I don't know how old everybody is. I'm like 36, so I'm counting myself as the oldest right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely the youngest. I'm 26, about to be 27 in a couple months.
Hey, bro,
Thanks,
congratulations,
bro.
making an OG. What's up, bro?
Nah, I'll be 37 next month. Well,
Man,
in like
All
less
right.
than a month.
hey, y'all some old heads on me, man. Y'all
Well,
got
Right.
my
Man, they
what you
ain't
kids.
telling,
old,
man?
man. They is not no old
Nah,
heads,
nah,
man.
bro. Hey, I'm in my 30s too, bro. I'm in the young 30s though. I'm an 80s baby.
But
Just that's all you need to know.
anyway, before I forget, um, more so in our lives now, and it's not just because we're aware or the internet or whatever, but it's more because there is an absolute like visual. You can see it, you watch it happening, a division of everyone everywhere.
Yeah,
Be,
and
uh,
like,
by
do you think that
color,
that's
by creed,
manufactured
by
though,
race.
bro? Do y'all think
That's
that's manufactured?
yeah.
Or
I think
do
there's
you think that
absolutely
this stuff's
intentional.
coming naturally? Just it's all a bunch of stuff like coming to a head over a long period of
All
time?
right,
Or do you think
it's
it's being like forced to happen in a sense?
I'm 100% sure that it's being forced to happen. That said, that doesn't mean that like suspicion and weariness isn't like a huge part of human nature. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's just weaponizing that part of human nature to achieve the goal of division. It's not that we do it naturally. It's not that we don't do it naturally. It's just that we would never get to this level without this kind of like push, because as people we're also like we're also a communal animal, a herd animal. So what with like if you see like a baby of whatever color that's been like stabbed in the foot or some shit, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta help that fucking baby. Why is that baby stabbed in the foot? Because you're not a total fucking monster. You know what I mean? Like you see a defenseless thing and you're going to try to help this thing. It's you know what I mean? Unless you're absolutely broken on the inside in ways I don't even want to imagine, because that's none of my fucking business.
Yeah.
Like you would do something to like help this fucking innocent creature. You know what I mean? Like,
I
and
mean,
But
I can go with you on
that's
that one.
also human nature.
but at the same time though too, and I didn't mean to cut you off. We are truly in a weird time where like you're saying, let's say in the back in the days, yeah, more likely people will help each other. But now, and I'm starting to notice this more and more, which is a good and a bad thing at the same time. But we in an era where we can see somebody going through something and they'll whip out their phones and record it instead of whipping out their phones and calling for help, if that makes
Uh-huh.
sense. Now,
Yeah.
granted, somebody
That's
might in
twofold.
in the crowd, they might be like, "Hey, I'm calling the police." Let's say out of 10 people, at least 5 of them are recording it. Maybe
I,
one person is calling for help, and the other like
It's called the
remain.
bystander effect.
no. Guy Payne, I think you might know what I'm talking about. I think this happened in the Philly area. A woman was in the
The
process
bystander
of
effect. Yep.
being raped. And now one
Yep.
person said did it not they just
Yep.
all pulled out their phones and recorded a
Recorded
whole
it.
bus
Fucking
full of
right.
people watched a woman about to be
You're correct.
violated and nobody stepped up. So like what you talking about, like we're like at a generation where like there's a disconnect. I do get what you're talking about because I think that like what we're seeing is there people are no longer seeing reality like through their eyes. They've been watching things through like phones and screens, and like unless they see like the video of it and see like multiple angles of the video of it, they don't trust it's real, even when they see it with their own eyes nowadays.
Yeah,
And to be fair, this went back into the 70s when that woman was raped in the alley, and literally everybody heard it for like a block and a half. And everybody was like, oh, somebody, I just thought somebody else was going to do something. You
Yeah,
know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
it's
And
somebody
that's
else's
what
problem.
stops. Yeah, no, it's not even that somebody else's problem. It's, somebody else will do something. I don't need to get involved
yeah.
because somebody else will.
And then
Mm-hmm.
That's
then another thing too is like I want to say like maybe a year or two ago I went through a crazy ass situation. Right, all right. Somebody like in my apartment now, mind you, this was maybe in the fall or the winter time, and so we had on coats. It was me and my homies. We had on coats and whatnot.
Hold up, I got a phone call. Y'all keep going.
Yeah. Well, me and my homies, we was outside. We was chilling. It was 4 of us. We was chilling on my porch, and all of a sudden, like it was like these 2 ladies driving the car. Their car literally broke down right in the entrance of our apartment complex, right? And so we sat there and we watched them for about 30 minutes. And like another car, like with their friends came, pulled up, and they talked for like another 20 minutes. So the car with the friends, I guess she ran out of gas. So they went to go get her some gas. Us four, we was talking. We was like, man, we should go help them. One of my homeboys was like, nah, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? So then we was like, you know what? Nah, that ain't right. So then now I know it looked a little crazy because you had like 4 guys just walking up to this car, but we seen the car break down. We was outside for an hour. And so we just wanted to push the car out the way. You know what I'm saying? So they'll be good. Just in case if anybody need to come in and out. Do you know, and I get it, so that's because I wasn't mad. But do you know, man, they actually pulled a gun out on us?
I mean, what time of night was it? You like where was the area? Like where y'all chilling at? Like do people in groups like walk up on cars and it's an issue?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can get why you not mad.
Yeah. But see, but it'd be like situations where, and let's say you see a man beating on a woman, and you know they going through their relationship problems, and you know it happens, shit happens. Sometimes you know a guy might be like, all right, well he's beating on her, let me try to intervene, and in the process of him intervening, the boyfriend winds up beating the shit or killing the other guy.
Yeah, that happened recently.
The bystander.
And then he rolled off with the girl.
Take the flip side of that one, though. Take the flip side of that one, right? Mm-hmm. Say you do get involved. You do help that woman. And you beat old buddy because he's beating on her, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when the cops show up, she sides with the boyfriend and say, like, he assaulted
exactly.
Him. And then you had to go in jail and deal with assault charge, all because you were just trying to keep this one from getting her head broke.
Exactly.
And so, like, there's always the issue is like we have had so much of this stuff going on, and you're exposed constantly to this negative, like, exposed like the few and far betweens because of social media. They're like heightened, and so I think that they seem to be more prevalent than they actually are, and it's created a distrust or a breakdown in society as a whole. But that there is like I'm pretty sure there's more nuance to it. But that's just like an overarching look at it.
Yeah, well, to more to that point, it's what happens when when everybody's at war. We're at war with this, you know. Oh, man versus woman, woman versus man, this versus that. You know, it's all fun and dandy when you're the one killing somebody to protect your family, but when that person comes seeking revenge for you killing their family member, then what's wrong with that? Well, I mean, like I said, is it unreasonable? 100%. But at the end of the day, can you honestly say that you wouldn't feel the same way or do the same thing?
You find it unreasonable. I find it reasonable. You find it unjustifiable. I find it justifiable.
Yeah.
You chose your life over somebody I care about's life, and from like the overarching perspective of it, if like all I know is you took the life of the person that I care about. If I love this person, I'm with them regardless of what they got going on. I shouldn't be that way. I should be, I should understand like they put themselves in a position and I shouldn't be, like he said, shouldn't be mad about it. But at the same time, I care enough about that person that, okay, well, I care about their life more than your life. And just because you chose to keep your life over theirs, I'm going to take that life because you used it to like take the one I care about.
But don't you?
It's the wrong mindset, and I don't think people should have it. But I want you to understand that is a mindset that is justifiable to a lot of people.
But I don't. But see it. But I mean, but that's all in your perspective because I don't give a fuck what you say. That's not justified. If somebody tried to kill me and the roles ended up getting reversed and they end up dying because they was trying.
Yeah, you justified in marketing, man. I'm on your side. Yes. But
you know what I'm saying?
Understand that the devil's advocate in me wants to be like there's a flip side, and there are people that do rationalize it from like because we're talking about morality, right? From their morality perspective, who they care about in the life of that person is valued more than regardless of what went on, how that person's life got took. It's the fact that person's life got took that they're gonna go and retaliate.
So even if that person is a child murdering psychopath, huh? That's just fine, right?
If the other party loved the person that you murdered to the point that they would murder you for them, then yes. But that's the problem. It goes on to a third party, right? Like if you murk somebody and they care about the person you murked, then they're going to retaliate, or vice versa. But like if they do not have concern or care, then they're not going to retaliate. It comes down to a third party concerned enough about the individual doing what they're doing. That's where, like, I think a disconnect in the morality is like, yeah, we think that we understand the situation and we're justifying the situation, but we're looking at it from people involved in the situation, not looking at it as like we're a third party that would do something like that.
Well, no, I mean, I get it. I'm just, like I said, I'm not saying that you got anything that you guys are saying is wrong. I just simply like think that that's like, you know, if that's how you truly feel, then I feel like people need to stay far the fuck away from you.
Yeah, I'm with you, like on that mindset. Like if somebody is out actively harming and doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they get harmed in the process, I cannot be mad that they did. That just from my perspective, my morality, from my little area of my thought process, I couldn't justify retaliating for someone that put themselves in that position.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because at some point they have to take accountability, and that's why the reason why I bring this up. That's why I got out of the stop dealing in the streets that I was doing the stuff that I was doing, because I realized that these niggas is not illogical. These niggas is completely illogical. Nothing they say makes sense.
There's this whole quote. There's this whole quote by Nips where he says, "My disrespect is worth your life." He's very famous for saying that. Meaning, if you disrespect him, he will kill you.
Well, I'm with on that one. I'm be real with you, like to an extent that they have to have that type of, I would say, level of hostility because of it was required for survivability in the environment that they were in, and I believe that right there is a forced hostility. It's not a natural hostility.
I agree to an extent.
The problem. Oh no, I mean, trying your person, trying your man is one thing, but like disrespecting you cost you your life. Like, yeah, it can, because if one person disrespects you, the next one disrespects you, and then like you literally can be just like took advantage of. It can cost you your life. I'm sorry about it. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, it's fine. That's your like thing, but I'm gonna put it differently. Like, how soft you gotta be that you would kill somebody for hurting your feelings. Because if you really the man, somebody talking shit or saying something stupid ain't gonna matter.
Right.
Like, we talk mad shit about fucking Frank Dukes when, like, even before he got big, even after, because when a mouse fucking hollers, a lion doesn't need to roar. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Like, that's what people don't realize. There's so many people like trying to be hard as fuck when all they're doing is living under an umbrella of fear and reacting to fear itself. With literally, how can I hurt this person so there's no way they can even get close to hurting me again? Back in my day, it was we meeting, we throwing hands.
Ain't it? You gonna see me, and if you want to catch the next round at this ass whooping, you can get it. And hey, bro, if you do whoop my ass, you gonna earn that ass whooping. You get it.
That's what I'm saying. But that was the end of it. Like, you took the ass whooping. If you wanted another one, maybe you went, you got some boxing lessons, you put some hands right. Like, no, I'm getting my ass whooping back, whatever. But it wasn't like you show up and fucking murder a person. You know what I mean? You beat their ass, you took your manhood back. Like, murdering somebody doesn't take anything. It doesn't. There's no way you're a man for going. You know what I mean? It's not a battlefield situation. If you're a fucking soldier, that's a different life. Like, and I mean real fucking soldier, not just a street soldier.
Hey, no, not what do they call them? Not keyboard warriors, not like out in the street shooting until the red light show up. Actually, there until the clips is empty and then the hands come out.
Yeah, like, people ain't about that life anymore. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel like not necessarily trying to put all the blame into social media, but we're in a social media age where, back in the days, it's like if somebody hurt your feelings or somebody did something to you, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it might hurt at the moment, but I can shake it off. But now, you know what I'm saying? If something happens, that shit is like forever. And
yeah, everybody got a video of that shit in school
yeah,
watching you get your ass whooped by 15 people. Like somehow it makes you the pussy. Like, you know what I mean?
Figure that one out.
You know what I mean? I'm like, listen, the math ain't math, and motherfuckers. Then I'm the one with a concussion.
You know what they say? If it's not recorded, it didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm from I'm from was it Missouri? That's the show me state.
Hey, bro, all I'm gonna say is like the town I'm from, the actual like the name they call it the Wishing Nigga Woods, bro.
The Wishing Nigga Woods.
Like, I'm just being real with you, bro. Like, I mean, the white folk might not call that, but it's still that's what we know it is.
And Marty's got a good point. There's no honor anymore. Everybody thinks that anger, and nobody stops to think about the consequences, or rather, the consequences of anger have actually become keys to success. Like, so many people have gotten, and not a comparative number. It's not like 1 out of every 5. It's like 1 out of every 900,000. Like, that puts up a video of them doing some stupid shit, gets famous for doing that stupid violent shit. And then, but that one person gets so loud and visceral and viral that other people think, I could do that shit. And then they go like, y'all remember bum fights?
Yes. Hey, bro, Kimbo Slice. That's what got that man in UFC.
Thank you. But how many are like backyard wrestling and shit? How many of them videos or how many of that shit did anybody do? Because I was in a few backyards throwing hands on some cameras back in the day. Like, that's,
I never fought for money, bro. And if anybody caught me on camera, I'm catching the man that caught me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, ain't no way I'm catching no charge by no means.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, though. Back in those days,
backyards and shit. That's fighting. That's
hey, bro. I'm with you though. Like to pull up and like you shot your round with whoever you wanted to shoot your round with. If you need to bring the squad, you brought the squad. Like it is what it is. You shot the rounds and you left it at that. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like it's promoted that I gotta go end you because you tried me. Like where I'm from, like motherfuckers say what they want all day, man. They just wolf and let that man reach out and touch me and see what happens. Was like. That's how you operated to operate. Like just because somebody can open it, hey, bro, open your mouth. Holler all you want to, but that's all you're gonna do is yell, bro. Like your voice can't do anything to me. It ain't like I can feel you like punching my chest just because you can get a high octave or two.
Ain't like he that dude from the Doctor Strange movie.
He hits you with that Mariah note and shatter your rib cage, start fucking up your whole perception of life.
Hey, scratch man out, poo. He scratched man out pool, bro. He already just spit. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
They all barking, no bite, you know.
Oh yeah.
In the wise words of Willie Jones from Friday, they sissified. Everybody just sissified. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's because when you look at it, right? It's because there's no men in the households anymore. Not no real masculine men. It's become a curse to be a masculine man nowadays.
What did The Sopranos? Whatever happened to Gary Cooper? Like y'all remember that shit he was talking about when men were men?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't even necessarily mean that like that. I don't mean like being the always tough stoic guy. What I just mean is like doing masculine things. Like cutting grass or playing basketball or boxing or anything that men do that's that's competitive,
like being an active group kind of thing, and then having people that like by being in that active group learn like the skills they need for other little household things, like how to actually like interact with other people. Like you had social interaction with men at like an adult age, and they had things where they like you met up to shoot ball or you play like football in the fucking like one little area of the park, like you got together and like drank at the bar or something like that. It feels like well, no, I mean like
games. Like 12 people you don't know.
There's a mentality where let's see if I can put it together right. A mentality where I'm responsible for me and the things around me. And then there's a mentality that I'm in the position I'm in because the things that are around me. And like, do y'all classify as those two separate mindsets? Like I do it like alpha and beta. Like, and alpha is like, all right, this is my situation. I gotta take charge of my situation. Where beta is like, I'm in this situation because this is going on.
All right. I gotta go. The kids
Hey, bro, it's good seeing you again, bro. Hey, I ain't seen your ass in the longest valor for real, bro. Be safe.
Kids first. You know what I mean?
Always, brother.
Sure,
always.
But before I leave, final thoughts. I know. 1 second, buddy. The realest thing a man can do, and the most masculine thing I think throughout history, is bearing the weight of responsibility. Taking the steps with the burden of knowing that your actions and your consequences are on you, and that you don't shrug them off on somebody else, and you don't pawn your problems off. I think there was a time when that ideal really started to take hold, and race stopped to matter, sexuality stopped mattering as much. There was a time when we started really moving the fuck together, really coming into some shit. And that shit got noticed. So the powers that be started dividing, and they've done a good job. Whether it's one wing or the other wing of the same bird, it doesn't super matter. The whole thing is flying over our head, looking down at us at levels we can't even comprehend on a board that we don't
ready
even
to
realize
shit
we're
on anything they see open.
Exactly. So try and think of yourself not so much as the individual. Try and think of yourself beyond even the community, because even the sense of self-identity and self-independence has been weaponized to the point of exclusion of not only your fellow Americans, but even just your fellow human beings in general. We've been turned against each other, and our hate has been weaponized because our love has been ignored. We need to tap into that love and start using that to fuel us, no matter how easy it is to let anger push the project. That's all I gotta say. Y'all have a good one. This is Captain Valen reminding you life happens in every direction. So let's roll with them 1s and 20s, all right? Y'all have a good one.
Be safe, brother. That was beautiful, man.
Well said.
Thank you kindly.
But like, do y'all think that he's got something right with the whole "we were coming together" thing, or do you think
no.
that was
Honestly, that was I forgot that I had muted my mic, but that was the reason I wanted to say to that. Yeah, like 100%. You know, when we started really noticing stuff that they had going on, then they started, showing us stuff that we didn't care about. I mean, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. Why the fuck was that such a big ass story that it was on every fucking YouTube channel,
because they
every news
tried to
story.
rope us into Ukraine with? I'm sorry, could you go and say that again?
They filmed every day of that freaking trial.
Oh yeah, but at the same time, I think it was because of all the stuff that was going on, like economic wise, and the thing that was going on in Ukraine. Because like they, for like the longest, the news cycle was trying to basically guilt us into going over there into a war we had nothing to do with, or like convince us that it was art to send like billions of dollars of our money to a country that we literally have not done any trade with or get made like any real trade from.
But you know what that is? It's because we're in a cold war with Russia. I mean, with Russia.
Yeah, for what though? Like
Because for dominance. Because listen, well, if you believe the stuff that actually I'm gonna say allegedly, but honestly, I think it actually happened. This man Vladimir Putin literally put a mole inside and got him elected fucking president of the United fucking States. He literally, I mean, when you look at it, right? Trump before he was running for president, he was spending a lot of time in Russia. Then,
bro,
but listen, hold on,
he's
but
a
listen.
CIA operative that's been a actual like asset to the CIA and the American government since like
listen,
92.
Listen. Just because the CIA uses him as a quote unquote asset doesn't really mean they're an asset. Most of the time, what's for the CIA, an asset is nothing but for an informant, like it is for the police or the FBI. It's most of the time that I'm not saying all the time. Most of the time, they're nothing but informants. And what does Trump have to inform on?
I'm gonna be honest. Let's see if I can put this. I can put this right.
That's walking down what I was trying to get at.
I'm sorry. I'll get off on some of what you were talking about. I'll let you get your original, but I want to like kind of break down some of what you're talking about like why I don't believe he works like for the Russians because of some of the stuff that I know inside about like basically what the government has been using as far as like his like resorts and things like that to spy on world leaders and things like that. I would understand that maybe he has more hands in his pocket in the inside and is more on the inside than people realize. And a lot of that stuff is basically an act that he's talking about. I'm to take down the swamp. Like I really feel like this man's a persona and an actor like Ronald Reagan. He's got a really good fucking ability to act and like whoop up this whole like bullshit that they got out there in America. But at the same time, I think he's doing this on the backs of like people that want him to do it. So like I think it's part of like what we were talking about, the division. I think that he's really good at being a distraction from a lot of the stuff they got going on, and they focus on the bullshit he got, and you don't realize a lot of what they're doing in the background, bro.
That makes sense.
But see, even so much as that, right? I just think Trump has so much information on all the dirtiest shit because Trump is dirty.
Oh, he's dirty as fuck.
Listen. It's a reason why the FBI actively goes out and hires hackers that actively did something against them. It's a reason why they do that. You know why they do that is because they realize how good they are. So they say, we're going to make you work for us. We're going to take your talents and we're going to put them to work for us.
Yeah.
Now, because Trump has a lot of money, and listen, I'm not even talking about back in 92. I'm talking about specifically before he ran for the president of the United States.
Hold on. Policy, brother. Policies while he's president was like to destabilize Russian oil on the market and tried to open up production here in America to like basically he undermined Russia, like doing some of the trades that he did. So there's that, like I'm with you on some of it, bro. Like I'm with you on some of it, but he fought him on other ends.
But listen, but with policies, bro, you can never really take somebody.
I don't think that he was the one pushing.
But listen.
I'm sorry. Let me mute. Go ahead.
The policies that he made, quote unquote, put out weren't necessarily put out by Trump. All right, you can tell for the simple fact of when he was tweeting right before Twitter banned him. When he was tweeting, the shit that he actually, the shit that actually sounded like Trump, the rants, the dumb shit, all of the shit that really didn't mean much. You can tell because that's him. That's him being in his emotions, him being emotional, being to whatever is being said about him. Now, Donald Trump literally went on and attacked Obama at every turn he could get.
Yeah, I remember
that. He was the president of the United States and still has yet to release his tax returns. Which every United States president has had to do.
That's actually a misinformation. He did return it. Like he released all his tax returns. The reason that they're talking about like the last 2 years of the tax return is like the years he was presidency, and he didn't take a paycheck, so therefore he doesn't have a tax return. They treat it like he won't turn the stuff over. That's a distraction from like a lot of stuff. That's what I get at with him. Like he is a really good distraction. He is really good about all sides. Like, no, bro. It's not him. That's what I'm getting at. He's an actor, bro. He's a puppet for a bunch of people, but he is a damn good actor. He is really fucking good at what he does, at being a distraction, at being a divisive individual that is polarizing to certain people in so many different ways, because none of that shit's him. It's different little teams setting him up in different little ways so that he's accepted by different little pockets, so that they have a coalition of fuck offs that everybody come together on. But he's a really good actor. He is really good at what he does, at being a divisive individual that is polarizing to certain people in so many different ways, because none of that shit's him. It's different little teams setting him up in different little ways so that he's accepted by different little pockets, so that they have a coalition of fuck offs that everybody come together on. But at the end of the day, that shit works to divide. It works for their agenda, not for us, not for like the American people, not for us as a whole, but for the agenda that people are trying to push. It works really fucking well.
Okay, but listen. This is all I'm saying. If I, because my whole point is getting bogged down. I'm trying to simply say with Trump, with the years leading up to his election, he spent a lot of time in Russia. He started opening hotels up in Russia. Then after he gets elected president, it's funny that it just so happened that Vladimir that Putin um it was some business deal or something that went through once he was the president, and it was certain things that was passed and certain things that was redacted, which was Obamacare. They butchered Obamacare to the point where they repealed it and made it Trump care, which is damn near impossible to qualify for, and basically did everything he could in his policies to take what Obama did, except for the fact that when Obama's presidency, jobs rose. We had more jobs, and that continued because of Obama's policies that Trump then used his power to to dismantle little by little, replace it with whatever he wanted to replace it with, and then make himself a bunch of money. Because if you think that Trump didn't make any money last year, the years that he was president,
this. All right, right. You feel like Trump's a targeted, right? Like the reason I say I feel like he's a plant, bro, is because he's done shit like in the black community. They got him to like do what they call opportunity zones, right? He says like he goes out and gives this whole fucking speech about how all these people have not gotten these opportunities, and we're going to do all these little events. I know good and damn well this is not a New York businessman that's out here trying to make no goddamn profit. All right. HBCUs. Why the fuck would he have anything to do with an historically black college? And why would he try to secure funding for historically black colleges? Like, there's a lot of stuff that I know for a fact. This is not this man doing this stuff. It is people around him. And it makes me wonder, why does he pad these things? And why do they do these type of, to me, publicity stunts in the community to placate the community rather than actually address real issues in the community?
Because they would rather take the dirt that everybody swept under the rug. They would rather take that out and dump it all on the floor and put the rug on, than to clean it up, than to actually clean it and not sweep it under the rug. So what happens is this constant cycle of, well, I gotta clean up under the rug. I clean up under the rug and it goes everywhere else, and I sweep it under the rug to clean up, and I gotta do it all over again. It's just a constant cycle. Just like hatred, like with murder. You kill somebody else is justified in wanting to kill you.
Okay.
True.
This is another one that I just kind of was like been in my head for a second. Y'all remember the whole shit basically that was going down with the whole Epstein deal and all this shit?
Mm-hmm.
All right. They got Epstein, he bamped off. They got Maxwell. They got her for like trafficking or whatever. Not one person has been charged for like purchasing the shit they've been trafficking. And like I noticed throughout both the Trump thing and through like the black, all the powers that be, while we've been distracted about all this stuff, by all kind of shit like the Amber Heard thing, that's when a bunch of the stuff about the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff about when she was starting to get her sentencing and like the fact that they denied her the ability to like give up information, like give up these people to get time off her sentence, like they didn't want these people. Mm-hmm. And then like right when they were talking about this stuff in the news cycle, that's when that Amber Heard stuff came up. So like there's a piece of me that believes that there's people that profit off of like human trafficking, human slave, like the works, right?
Of course.
Here in this country that are upper echelon. And that a lot of the reason that we're divided and right, like a lot of the reason like we at what we are right now as a country is because these people want us distracted with this, so we don't pay attention to the fact that there's no such thing as a national missing persons database, like wild shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I mean, they're like magicians,
Watch the right hand, but pay attention to the left. Yes, that's my favorite. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you.
We say that. I say that all the time. Like, and that's why I say it. Now, depending on who you are, right? Is a magician a hero or is he a villain?
I mean, that depends on, is he using the magic to like entertain, or is he using the like a pickpocket is a magician, brother. So like you gotta understand, is he using his magic for good or bad?
But see, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because it all goes back into your perspective and what you.
Y'all keep going. I'm gonna try and like see if somebody will ski with me. I'll come right back.
But I feel like after I would say time is a plays a crucial role into it, because let's say they might have started off in the beginning, okay, well, we got to do this, and sometimes like doing fucked up shit, it justifies it in the end. But the longer you do it, it's like it doesn't necessarily becomes justified. Now it's all about trying to keep up a certain appearance or a certain lifestyle or a certain quota or anything like that, where because after a while it's like you really got to truly, I mean, well, I feel like after a while they got to be like, all right, we doing some fucked up shit, and there's no way, it's like we do some fucked up shit and it's no turning back. So I can no longer even think about being a hero. I mean, I'm fully embracing the villainy act, and it's like it is what it is per se. And it's like, I guess it's like they've crossed the point of no return.
Right.
What is it? You live long enough as the hero, you turn into the villain.
No, you live. You either die. You either die the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Excuse me.
So, my thing is, but there's always another option, because for me, I would never consider myself a hero. I consider myself an anti-hero.
All right. Can you define hero and anti-hero? Because I want to know your relative term for those things and like what you see.
Okay, a hero will actively go out and try to help other people in like some, like, say, there's somebody
like the building's burning, they're gonna dive into a burning building. For somebody drowning in the water, to dive in the water. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. An anti-hero where I might save somebody, but it'll be because it benefits me or something that I want to do out of life or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It won't be just because sometimes the effect will be to help people. Like, if I want to get something out of a burning building and I got to run into the burning building and you just so happen to be there, and you know what's right next to it is what I need, and I grab that and you and walk out, I'm a hero, but I'm not really a hero because I wasn't really trying to be a hero.
Yeah. All right, I get where you're coming from on that. Like,
Yeah, and heroes usually have their own agendas.
Yeah,
all right, well,
like Deadpool, he's a hero, but he has his own agenda. Wolverine,
no, Deadpool's an anti-hero. He is not out for the greater good. He is out for like basically what he sees as his moral compass.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. But that's why I would define myself, because.
All right, the reason I think, unfortunately, I consider myself a hero is because no matter what I went through, no matter like the environments I was in, there's always a piece of me that never lost the ability to empathize with someone, right? And I think that to want to reach out or to go out and say something or to like put yourself in harm's way for another person, you would have to empathize with that situation, see yourself in that situation, and be like, okay, I would want someone to rescue me, so I need to go rescue that person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I get that, and we need heroes. The world needs heroes.
Yeah.
What about you,
that's
Ice?
the thing, bro. Like, being a hero is not beneficial to the hero, though.
No, at all. That's why I said at all.
Ever. Like, no. Those that sacrifice never benefit, but the people they sacrifice for, and like they genuinely appreciate the benefits they get from the sacrifice you make. But a lot of times, the people that don't always give back for like what you sacrifice. You know what I mean? They keep it pushing.
Because Shadow the Hedgehog for sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Shadow is definitely an anti-hero.
He's my favorite out of the Sonic franchise. I've always loved
Hold
Shadow.
Would would Shadow really be considered an anti-hero because he worked for Dr. Eggman and attacked Sonic and did all he did because he believed he was trying to bring that little girl or whatever back to life from like the little space lab. I can't remember her name right now. So like he did, like his goals were morally just, but he was willing to do immoral things for a morally just goal. Does that make him an anti-hero?
But that's what I think is an anti-hero.
Yeah, Shadow, I mean, he really cared for Maria, but I mean, Eggman was really deceiving him the whole time. He could never bring that girl back. She was killed so many years beforehand.
Yeah. So like, although he was like from his perspective, he sees himself as a hero. He sees himself as someone who is like valiantly trying to bring a friend back to life by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And like the moral conundrum comes like, if you're, like he said, willing to sacrifice basically the world for a loved one, are you not evil? Because you're being selfish, and selfishness is evil.
I'll give you a perfect example. Pegasus. I give you a perfect example. It's Pegasus.
Okay.
From the whatchamacallit arc.
He was doing all that, snatching people's souls and stuff, all because he wanted to bring his wife back because she died.
Yeah, but like he was willing to trade the souls of whoever it took and as many as it took
to get her.
For his own self. Like once again, it's a selfish, greedy thing that he is wanting, and therefore it's evil because it comes from an evil place.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if it's out of love and out of like this want, like, but the willingness to go to those lengths to get what you want and to cut everything out for that, you no longer in like the territory of love. You are now into greed. You are now into like personal desire rather than like a mutual reciprocation.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that's a great point.
Yeah, you're right. It is a great point.
And see, my thing with that though,
thank you,
is you also have to look at the fact that sometimes some people are so broken, and somebody will come along and it'll fix that person, or that person will be happier than they've ever been, and somebody will take that person, or they'll do something to harm that person.
Well, that didn't happen to me.
Yeah. And that's not good for anybody.
Right.
Because now that person who was a hero, even Peter Parker, I mean, even Spider-Man, killed
Green Goblin, wasn't it? The original Green Goblin.
Yeah, Harry's father.
And it was like his best friend's father, someone like he used to eat dinner with and shit like that. Yeah,
it was Harry's father.
Like, it was basically his father figure because he was basically orphaned, and like that was his, like it was essentially like killing his own father.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry's father. Uh-huh.
And then when he beat the shit out of on damn near killed Kingpin, when he went as Peter Parker in his underwear, he literally beat the dog shit out of him, told him how he was gonna kill him. And he said, Spider-Man don't kill, but Peter does. You already
took the mask off. Hey, bro, took the mask off or said this is how
Spider-Man don't kill, but Peter does.
He said Spider-Man don't kill, but Peter does. Don't you ever touch on me.
Hey, yo.
But see, now, would that be considered selfish because he ready to kill another man because of his aunt?
No. You know why it's not
selfish?
Defense
of family, brother. That's the defense of family. I think that's a moral justification because, like, he was like, I'm being targeted, and if I don't like show this man that, like, hey, I can reach out and touch you, stop where you at now, before you push things too far. He's gonna push things too far because he's like, okay, I can do this now. I can do this.
Mm-hmm. And you can do that. You sure can. But you can go inside the club and say fuck everybody in the club. You can't then expect to then walk the fuck out.
You can walk into a police station and say, I got an ounce on me, who want it? And see what happens.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You can go in the police station with a loaded weapon and start shooting that motherfucker, but you cannot then expect to not die. Because there's gonna be some consequences and repercussions for your decision.
Hey, no. What's the worst part is everybody gonna try to hit him with non-lethal, and like 15 people gonna hit him with a taser at one time. It's gonna be like, it was an accident. We didn't mean to. One dude in the back when he hits the ground got to unload the clip because I ain't felt in danger. He twitched. I thought I was gonna
die. Man, so that's what that's what I'm saying. So. Like and Peter's justified not even simply for the fact that they went after his aunt. It's because that nigga has sacrificed everything. He has sacrificed a lot just to save other people. So if he wanted to catch a body or two, I ain't gonna stop him.
Stop and think about it. Wolverine was out there like catching them left, right, bro. When they had him as like a super weapon for the government, and then when he came to get his revenge, he murked off like a whole section of a government. Like, so but you got people out there like, and they consider Wolverine a goddamn hero now.
True. You're right about that. But he was super weapon actually.
Like, Sabretooth on the same end as him, supposed to be like his brother or whatever.
Sabretooth is his brother,
like his big brother. So they went through the same shit, right? But he's considered the bad guy because he's still like basically under the orders or still under like whatever's going on with the Weapon X shit.
Yeah.
Because he never left. He's the bad guy. Have you ever seen Akame Kill?
Say that again.
Akame Kill.
Oh yeah, you talking about like with the
Assassins?
I think you talking about
the Night Raid?
No.
Well, okay. Basically, there's these two sisters, Akame and Kagome. I think Kagami, whatever the fuck her sister name is. One is an assassin that's trying to, stop the evil tyrannical rule of, one evil dictator king, or evil dictator, and the other is, a knight for the empire. And they have to fight to the death.
Okay, I get what you're talking about. Like, because of like their values and their morality, they end up on both ends of the spectrum to the point that they would kill even their own like flesh and blood for the values they believe in.
Yeah.
The same thing is like a gangbanger. Like one brother becomes a gangbanger, one brother becomes a cop, or like one brother becomes a drug dealer, another brother goes to work for the DEA, or like how you want to slice it, like more modern shit. Or like somebody gets into like racketeering or whatever, and then like the next brother goes into like the IRS. You never know what.
And you never know because you never know what impact is gonna have on somebody. What made you become a killer could make somebody else become a cop.
True.
I mean, what probably made me want to be a soldier and all that, like, because I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I love my country, but I do not love my government. I love like the values. I love the concept. I love the dream.
What? That's
I just know it's just that right now it's a dream, and I'm working hard with everybody that wants to wake up with me. You feel me?
I 100%. But see, I 100% agree with you. But I think that term woke has been driven so
weaponized.
So because see that's what you do when you want to take power from a word. You overuse it to the point where don't nobody want to use it because it's just
it's associated with a lot of fucked up things now.
But see, the thing is, a lot of people so woke when they need to get some fucking sleep. They need to take a nap. You know what I mean? I ain't saying get a whole 12 hours of sleep, but nigga, take a nap.
Put the coffee down, bro. Just put
you
the
woke
coffee
up
down.
wrong.
Y'all woke up on the wrong side of the bed and decided to stay that woke. No, you need to go to sleep, wake up on the right side, and be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man. They fucked around. They didn't take the blue pill. They took the green one because it was like the dinner mint, and they thought they woke up.
And they just ended up shitting their brains out.
Because it was secretly a milk flavored X-Lax. They thought it was a dinner mint, so they suck it on it a little extra.
This woke culture.
But this is the one that scares me on that shit, right? Is the fact that they're like very accepting to the point that I now see shit that I saw that was fought against for a very long time is acceptance of people that are trying to reterm themselves. like pedophiles being told like they can like they're trying to make that a sexuality or like because they're like every type of sexuality it's okay to love and all that. Now they're talking about like love is about another. Like no, bro, you better stop that right now. You do not let that aspect anywhere near you.
I knew it, but I said that years ago. I
that's
mean,
what I said.
if you want to listen,
push too far, and that's what's gonna happen.
Doug, to be honest, man, to be honest with you, gay men rule this world. To be honest with you, gay men rule this world.
Well, no, bisexual because they out here fucking everybody.
Well, I mean, true, but yeah, I was gonna say pansexuals, but anyway, but not even that. But see, because what happens is when you think about it, right? What are the biggest designers in fashion? You know, biggest names in in wear.
Yeah. You talk about like influence in culture as far as entertainment, fashion, what you eat, like all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because who listens and actively pays gay men? Women.
And more specifically, black women. Really, black women really advocate for gay men.
That's one I don't get. Right.
Me neither.
Was a thing in Black Lives Matter at one point in time where they were talking about like one of the things they want to do was remove straight black men from society. And I was like, how are you supposed to be an organization that's supposed to be doing this stuff? And like that was one of the things like I worry that people are using terms and like certain things and like you got people that are infiltrating into certain aspects of stuff that's been built up to do all kinds of really evil things in plain sight because everybody's more paying attention to what's going on over here instead of what's like running in the background.
Well, to that point, right? If you don't know, research what destroyed the Black Panthers.
Oh, I already know, brother.
No, but see, well, I mean, I'm just saying, whoever ends up watching this.
One of the the biker gangs that my father was a part of is an offshoot of what is now or was the Black Panthers, is referred to as the Black Cats. So like I know a good bit of history of what you're talking about, bro.
So
they got relegated to being bike gangs and like little clubs and like organizations and lodges. They were no longer an actual like national organization.
Mm-hmm. Because what happens is a certain group or demographic gets too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, look up Black Wall Street.
Yeah, when they burn it down, brother, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And most people that like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like they're finally like getting more proper education on like the overall history and like why there's such high stuff. Like a lot of that stuff's been like just kind of behind doors or like personal passed on history instead of like public knowledge like it should have been. Because I feel like Black history, Asian, all of it is part of like who we are as a country. If we're going to be that, then we need to teach all of it and why we're where we're at and how we don't need to go back to those type of things.
Exactly. And my thing is you can't have a country that was built on Black and not get and Native American backs because it was their Native Americans' land originally.
Oh yeah,
we were only here because the people that stole their land brought us here.
All right, some of the stuff like they literally used some of the slaves they brought over here as trade in land deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, and it was like this is the thing, and like look at California when they started building up like the railroads and stuff like that. They had Chinese slaves that they brought. Like America has always been built on the back of somebody being brought over here and give a fuck. And when they didn't have the slaves, they started having the immigrant communities. When they couldn't get a hold of enough of the immigrant communities, they started creating poverty and crime in exorbitant amounts, and then use those people and like come up with crazy laws to create a legalized system of slavery that they have through like the legal system now.
It's not even.
There's always a form of somebody being at the top and then oppressing the people in some kind of way.
Yeah, but not even that. It's the 16th Amendment, right? Everybody, was the 13th Amendment.
13th.
The 13th Amendment.
I'll be real with you. I don't know a lot of the amendments to be like.
It basically says slavery is illegal, except this is the key part right here. Except if you were convicted of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's also another one, right? The whole reason that they assassinated Lincoln was because he was planning to basically send every last slave back to where they came from, right? Like return them all. And because there were a bunch of people that still profited off of like the impoverished blacks and like these people that are basically a mass population of uneducated workforce that they're not willing to let go, they bamped this man off.
Yeah.
And then they write the history as, oh, this man was over here trying to like just free everybody.
No, the only reason why he wanted to free him in the first place was to
get
cut
rid
the
of
resources of the Confederates. The Confederates were really using the slaves and stuff, to help them. So he wanted to cut their resources. It wasn't really about freeing the slaves.
Oh yeah, well, I still think that there's another one like the uneducated Southerner or something like that, because like when people hear a Southern drawl, they automatically assume that you're an unintelligent individual, or that you cannot properly use your words and things like. I choose to speak in a manner that is most comfortable to me. It does not mean that I am an ignorant or unintelligent individual.
Exactly. I hate that. I hate that shit. Because to that point, right? Me as a black man, right? I can't do certain shit when if I'm confronted with a certain type of person. Me, and you know what scares me the most, and more than any black guy walking down the street, any Hispanic, gang member, whatever, is a white woman.
Oh yeah, because like the cops coming up, the system coming down, like her word in the courtroom is gonna get you fried. Like it no matter what race you is, a Karen gonna get your ass. let her be, and let her have some connections in the legal field. Your day in the jail, like waiting to get the trial, gonna be even more hell.
Yo, because the moment you get in there, they're gonna throw you to the Aryans.
Oh, I already know, bro. Like they're
gonna trade you in there.
Bro. Like they genuinely try to instill racial hostility like from the gate, from the start, bro.
Oh, in prison, yeah, that's why I never wanted to go. It's like this, like yeah, you got to stick with your race.
Well, more than anything, they do that because it's like, all right, when you come up into something, you going like shit's flying around. It's a whole lot easier to identify somebody that's like by certain features, I guess. Like maybe it's like a pack mentality, like an animalistic instinct or something like that, like a survival mode. Because I do know that like a lot of these people, like inside of the prison, that's how they are. But the second they step out like that fucking door, like all that shit goes out the window.
Yeah, but see, that's another part. That's another part that I can't stand about it, because you'll have dudes in there that's quote unquote so straight, don't like dudes, this and the third, and they'll
got
go in
Skittles
there,
and a mop wig on, like got the Skittles on, like got ready to go, bro. I already know what you're talking about, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And then like honestly, it'd be people that you would never expect, because I had an experience where it was a dude that I didn't never think would go that way, but he had been locked up for a while, and
he got turned out, bro.
And you know what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying.
Hey, bro, like this is what I want people to understand, bro. Unless your ass is like a genuine, like some John Wick style, can handle like goddamn like man, motherfucker, come right up on your ass, can handle business, bro. You better not be out here committing crimes, because, bro, like if you ain't down with the squad, they about to get down with you.
Fam, I'm not with it. They're gonna have to kill me. I'm gonna have to die.
Well, that's the thing, bro. It's like you can't, brother. Like they will take it before you can do anything about it. Like if like you understand that if 5 grown men just decide to just grab your ass up just randomly, like while you standing around, there's really not much time for you to rag and do shit.
No, you really,
unless you really bought it off them hands, bro. Like you got to be ready.
Fam,
how you gonna kill yourself, bro? Like after the fact, after they done did what they did and violated your ass, like.
No, what I'm saying is, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm any way that I get a chance, dog. I'm like the moment I get some type of
like, bro, if they gonna take it, they gonna have to take it from a dead body.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not. No.
Well, man, like I heard some crazy shit right now. I think.
Hey, bro, I'm sorry. I should have went that route with it, bro. I'm so sorry, my man. Should have went that way. Please forgive me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's call it? Go ahead.
I don't want to necessarily be wrong about the region, but I heard in a particular region, right, where they'll let's say they'll fight you, and they will knock you out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll pull your pants down and spit in your butt because they'll be like, because you have bodily fluids on you, they gotta perform a rape kit on you. And once you get that rape kit performed on you, you pretty much mark wherever you go.
Oh, that's some fuck shit. Like
That's
that's the same thing. It's
They
like
don't
what?
even they don't even have to penetrate you. They will say, for instance, like if they genuinely don't fuck with you, they wouldn't even have to rape you. They would knock you out, spit in your butt, and when that happened, they gotta perform a rape kit on you. And
I
it's about like
That's
total
motherfuckers
humiliation.
using the system to manipulate and take advantage of an environment that they're forced into, right? Like they're using the only thing they have powers to be to have like the control that they're trying to seek in a caged environment. But that's a very animal fucking nature kind of thing.
Yeah.
That I honestly I never even knew that. I just
I mean,
horrified
I
me.
can see it. I can see where he going with it because like they're also like the same thing with they soak like razor blades and like bodily fluid and stuff like that for the same thing. Like because you get cut, you have to take like HIV test, and like then they're like, okay, well, you're exposed to this stuff, and then you mark for.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see where he's going with the other side of it. Like I never seen like that far with like that way, like but I see people like like cut them with shit like that, or like the concept. And I heard people talk about it. Like,
People are sick. They come up with all this crazy stuff, man. If they put half that brain power towards actually doing something
positive, but like, what positive outlet do you have when
all the time?
Okay, I see. You preaching from the gospel of pain, huh?
Pain says it all the time. You can, if your mind can go to the depths of, okay, I'm gonna soak my blood in this razor blade, and then I'm gonna go cut and infect somebody.
No, it don't be blood though. No. It be shit. They shit in the bucket.
Or that.
No, they like no, it's a mixture, bro. Like
shit, like milk, all types of shit.
Yeah, piss and all that stuff.
If you throw it in your face, or when you go and to grab it and wipe down like your normal reaction is, it's you end up opening you end up cutting and getting into your skin.
All right, here's another one, right? Baby oil. They'll put baby oil in the microwave, heat it up like it's boiling, and throw it on a motherfucker. Like, what you gonna do and how to will catch you at? Like the kind of like, okay, I have access to something for like using to like get my body moisture out, whatever. Let me put this in the thing that I use to like feed myself and then use that as a weapon. The thought process there is just like there's a connection that I'm not getting, but I also understand that that's a high level of intelligence that's brought on by like a hyperized environment.
But see, that's
so like there's people that have so much potential, but like she said, like there's no outlets for it. Like my get is like we used to have like education or we had like work program. We had somewhere like it used to be Department of Corrections. Now it's Department of Incarceration. So I know that they shifted, and I don't know when they shifted, but when they shifted, they started taking a bunch of shit out.
When they started
like loaning out people as workforce.
That
might have been when it started.
No, because I was about to say, because you realize that you know all the license plates and shit that get done, they get done that in prison.
No.
A lot of the certain works that they do, a lot of the like workshop stuff that they do in prison, get sent out to people.
Yeah.
What really happens?
No, y'all. Every T-shirt that is on the back of an American soldier was made in an American prison. Every single T-shirt.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
like the uniforms that they're wearing are made like the actual like the tan T-shirts. Every single one of them are produced in like I think like Texas and California. But they're all made. Every shirt that you see on the backs out here that's out here like enforcing the system that's got these people locked up. They making the shirts for it.
Wow,
that's a level of oppression that you just not really understand that they done got to.
And then because what happens is they privatize the prison. The prison and penitentiary system. They privatized it. So, and that's why I don't give a fuck who you are, and you know how great of a basketball player he was. Fuck Michael Jordan, because he took his money and he invested it in prisons, and to keeping people down. Because when you invest in prisons, you realize that your biggest market was going to be African American people. For
All
the
right, now
simple
this is
fact
one that
of it
actually there's been a bigger shift now because of like the meth problems and the fentanyl shit that we're seeing more like Hispanic
but
and
what
whites like flooding.
yeah, I know, but why do you think that it's an opioid crisis now?
Right. Well, that's because like the lesser whites wasn't doing their job, and so the elites was like, "Hey, bro, y'all getting too friendly with the others, so you can join them."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I remember back in the day, right, where people who was on like maybe about 20, 15, 20 plus years ago, a common phrase I heard was when people was on drugs, the only help that they got was either you go to jail and you go to a bullshit rehab program. But they would be like, you do the drug, don't let the drug do you.
Just
Yeah,
Like
let
to the
know.
point. And now when it's now I'm hearing like opioid crisis is a disease. I'm like, well, why the fuck
Mhm.
it wasn't a disease or a crisis back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like,
because it wasn't affecting rich middle class white people or upper Asians or like the
Mhm.
ones that have like access to making noise around people that actually like are worth a damn in the system that we're part of.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Exactly. That's what it is because everybody's connected. Because every military um colonel has, a fuck up of a nephew
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
does whatever the fuck he wants to do because he know his uncle's a fucking colonel.
The good old boy system, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is real. It do exist, and I've seen it.
You
I've had
know.
like, bro, I've had a judge look me in the eyes, right? Like I got hit with a pistol that went man, right? I got fingerprinted on booking. I am sitting here like looking at like where they got intake and the guns right here on the counter. The judge is like talking with me about like doing a little bond thing before we go back there, right? And I'm like, look, before anything happens, they got my fingerprints right now. You can fingerprint that gun, get the police do their job, and I can leave, right? Judge looks me in the eyes and says, the fact that the police would do anything to prove your innocence is highly unlikely. Understand if you come from the right kind of position, they will help you out. Anybody outside of that, you are part of the system because you don't have the money to pay the legal fees.
Yep. You know what's so fucked up, man? Me and my biological mother have something else we shouldn't have in common, but we have in common. You know what that something is?
Hmm?
We both got locked up being represented by the same lawyer.
That is odd, but wait, depending on the size of where you're at and the representation, that is still like odds are slim, but like an area like what you're talking about, Philly, I don't see how that's even possible unless
Well,
you was like
not
in the
even
one.
no, that happened in Virginia, but
was it like a
Okay,
brother?
yeah, a podunk ass town, I could probably see it.
no, but I mean Richmond, like city.
Mm. All right. Was it like just like timing and like the cycle? Like, has like public defenders are supposed to be like all the
No.
lawyers, right, to keep their license or whatever, have to serve like so many like weeks or months as a public defender. So like there are times you might get you a genuine $100 lawyer as a public defender, and the rest of the time you got somebody that's got 50 cases that's just starting out.
Well, no, I know, but see, what he is no, but see, honestly, he was the one who was her lawyer when she was going to trial back in 1996, 1996, 97. And then in 2000, I don't know how I was 11, 27 now, so that was like 16 years ago. Damn. Um, it would have been 2004, 2005.
Damn. So like statistic wise, that's a shot.
Impossible, right?
Yeah, bro. Unless like this man was like set to like take like names on like you know how like they got the phone book, bro. They just
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, bro, I got this section right here. Anybody's name that falls under this little category on the alphabet, you send them to me.
And what's weird is where she got arrested and which call it that, and went and subsequently went to prison wasn't even in where I was living at the time when the whole shit happened.
Oh, so like he moved to an area, and then like by the time you moved there, he actually like ended up being your representative body.
Yeah. And I ended up doing
that is
10
wild.
years. I ended up doing 2 years.
That is fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
Did he do anything to like help you out at all? Or like he was like, oh yeah, well
No,
I remember your mama, so like the apple don't fall. Like was he extra with it or like what?
No, it was literally, to be honest with you, literally her and him. Well, like literally, like her and him would have a conversation, and then when it came out when we went to court, she was like, lock him up. And then, she looked. The judge asked the lawyer, "Do you have any objections?" And he said, "I have no objections."
Oh, so you feel like you got set up, basically?
I mean, what would you feel like? I mean, that's one hell of a coincidence, right?
My God, like they just gave the head nod and the bat and the gavel got banged. I mean,
all I'm saying is, what does it sound like? If you're a detective on the case, what's your conclusion?
I mean, if I'm smelling fish, there's either a fish market or like a hooker nearby.
That's a good one.
That's a great one, actually.
I mean, we got to look at it from that, bro. Like, the whole like there's fire, there's smoke, like in the direction of, but also you got to bear in mind that like everything's not always what it seems.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of times when it is as it seems. Like just because there's the one-off that it might not be what it is doesn't mean that like the other 99 times it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get where you get the feeling and the justification of
like there's a thing about genuine coincidence.
You have like it's the problem is hard evidence versus feelings. Like you can move actions and do these things off of like hard evidence and feel more justified like internally than you can off of like feelings and observations. So I think that's where your hang up might be on like where you settling.
Well, see, I mean that for true, but I mean, like I said, when you look at the facts, I mean, just simply looking at the facts.
Yeah, like bare bone facts. I'm with you. I side with you. Yeah, like something was going on. Like there was some kind of deal that went on, or some kind of way.
It was something that happened because it's no way that on my first offense that y'all actually caught me with some shit. Granted, what y'all caught me with was some shit, but you couldn't prove anything.
They don't need to, bro, because I've seen.
Oh no, I know. Trust me.
No.
When I literally,
have you ever seen somebody get murder one off of hearsay and they haven't accept? Like I heard this man at the party after the fact say he shot this man, and they accepted as evidence in the courtroom with nothing else. That is the sole basis for convicting that individual.
That's because somebody wanted him locked up. Somebody wanted him locked up.
That's bull. Because they're not supposed to use hearsay.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It shouldn't have there was no other evidence that was that was the whole thing.
Listen, let me tell you something. When I was 16, right? I got high. I was smoking some weed and I had a lighter on me, and there was some good shit, but it had like a little stem and a couple seeds in it. I mean, there's some really good shit. And so I smoke it, I pass out. I wake up to a cop in my face and being said that I said I was going to burn the house down. And when they searched my room, all they found was a big lighter.
I bet.
Now,
causality?
How in the okay? Now I know you.
Did they try and charge you with paraphernalia for a big lighter?
No, they tried to charge me with arson.
Not attempted arson or conspiracy for arson, like straight up arson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody wanted to fuck with you that day, brother. Somebody wanted your head. Hey, no, I got one for you, right? Driving my grandma van, coming back into town to bring her band back for. I got pulled over, got took to jail, and got charged with 2nd-degree burglary because my fucking vehicle fit the description.
Oh my god!
I got let go that night because the actual person that committed the burglary committed it, but they arrested me not because I fit the description, because my vehicle fit the description.
Man, that's like I could see if you was out here driving a Pinto.
Bro, I'm in a fucking I'm in a white old lady van, bro.
Or
Just
like
pushing
or like a Nissan Neon. You know what I mean? Shit's cars that nobody has. You know.
Like, bro, come on. Like, there's only I'm the only white van on the highway right now. Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Somebody just don't like me at the station tonight. I know what it is.
But
you just had to fit a quota or something.
But see, and the thing
like,
is,
hey,
I didn't get
one more like possible. We needed a milk skin. We got them.
But and the crazy thing is though, with that whole situation, I didn't get Mirandized. And then when I asked the cop, I said, "Well, you know, am I being charged?" He said, "Yeah, you being charged with arson and attempted arson." I said, "I was asleep. How in the fuck?" Well, you were when we entered the premises, you were awake, and your mother and your sisters both said that you said you were going to burn down the house, and they said you were in the act of doing it when they called the cops. And I was like, okay, when I'm at the station, I'm just sitting there in handcuffs, and I'm like, they're trying to process me and shit, and I'm like, well, all right, well, what the fuck did I do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna do this for a big lighter? How in the fuck could I set a whole house on fire with a big lighter? Well, you could just burn the car, you could just burn the curtains.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I burn the curtains. That's gonna take how long for the whole house to be engulfed in flame?
Exactly.
Like, bro, you can set the carpet on fire right next to where the furnace is. Do you know you still got probably like 40 minutes for the carpet get hot enough to even like get water to boil next to it?
Exactly.
So that's what I'm like. Come on, man. Where's my accelerant? Where's this? This, that, and the third. I'm like, they lying on me. Well, why would they lie on me? Because they don't fucking like me.
You must be Pyro from X-Men or something.
I must be. I don't know.
Got to be.
I'm what's that Jean Grey shit when the Phoenix came out and he was just laying man, that shit said, I'm here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was about to say, who am I, Jean Grey? Like, come on, man. I can't. I wish I could, because there's a few niggas I would like to see combust. You know what I mean? But I can't. So because I can't, let me. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
But we're gonna wrap this up soon. Anybody got final thoughts on anything that you guys want to say about anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up? Go ahead and use this time to speak your mind, let everybody know how you feel.
Hey, bro, my bad about like screaming. Yeah, sometimes I get a little too extra.
Oh no, I understand. I mean, yeah, just try to try to make sure you just check yourself out. But I get it though. Trust me, I'm the same way.
Yeah, what you call like the nicest thing? Like sometimes I don't realize I'm. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking over the ringing and I realize everybody don't hear the ringing, I hear.
But like I said, anybody want with their want to go with their final thoughts or anything they want to say before we wrap it up?
I wanted to tell you I really do appreciate you for letting me stop by for real, and on the concept of the morality thing, I think that morality we're gonna have to go with it's agreed consensus, right? If me and you say it's moral and old buddy is evil, then he's evil. If he sides with old buddy, then we evil. At the end of the day, I think morality comes down to consensus.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a different. Well, I mean, honestly, I could see that because that also goes into mob mentality. If a whole mob of people that's all angry and something, and one person starts, throwing stuff and causing a riot, then a lot of times people will riot. That's why they have the charge for the police officers. That's why they had a charge of inciting a riot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's basically you're incentivizing a group of people to do something they otherwise wouldn't, because when you're together, the psyche of a group can be basically led based on the leader of what the group has got going on.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And you've seen one person come out there in crowds of people arguing, and the whole thing just shift because everybody just sides with this one person based on what they say. it don't matter what it was before that, or like if like one person over here like cross the line and like calms everything down. You know what I mean? Like it definitely is like consensus of who's on the moral side based on who sides with who.
True. Anybody else? Ice. You got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I know I came in a little, later on, but I definitely appreciate being part of the conversation, and I think more conversations like this really need to be had. I'm sick of watching all this stuff on YouTube where everybody's pandering towards a certain type of audience instead of just speaking
Preach.
on what's real. You get tired of seeing that pandering all because they want to make a quick buck, and I miss seeing like real, good, authentic discussions.
And what people don't realize about this whole cancel culture,
Oh,
you realize they can't cancel what they don't support, right?
Ain't
exactly,
it though?
exactly,
If you don't
Hey,
support this person, you can't cancel them because you
exactly,
can't pull your support because they never needed your support.
exactly,
So
exactly.
hey,
people need to get
what,
to the point where they realize that no, I'm the prize. You all these sponsorships and all y'all want me because what I'm doing is working.
Exactly.
All you
damn
need to
right.
do is put a disclaimer saying that we have different views.
And
Fact. Hey, boy, that right there, you need to trademark that. Call up Invent Help, trademark that shit, and get back.
then another thing I want to add too, as far as the cancel culture is, like, how can we truly cancel somebody today and then 2 3 days or 2 3 weeks later on it's like it never happened, and you know what I'm saying, we back to, I don't want to say regularly scheduled programming, but we back to the, you know
Yeah,
what
the
I'm saying,
Mhm.
Matrix is back.
it's
Hey, Matrix
yeah,
back online. Yeah.
so it's
Mhm.
like, because like whoever's canceled, they can always redeem themselves, or they can always do something to make
Reinvent
like, oh well, yeah,
themselves.
yeah. So it's
Hmm.
like, is it truly being canceled, or is this like you're just on time? Is it canceled or timeout?
I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying?
dependent on like some of the stuff they say, they're blocked from. When they say canceled, they just mean like the mainstream stuff. It ain't like they ain't still out here on like multiple other platforms still getting their fucking money. Cause like, look at what they did to Alex Jones, bro. Like they got this man off of everything, bro. And
Who's
he
Alex
turned around,
Jones?
he's still
I
making
don't know
like
who
a
that
couple
is.
mil a fucking year, bro. Like he ended up making more money because they got them went extra for him.
Who's Alex Jones again? I don't know why that
The
name is so
dude with the
familiar.
he's basically a conspiracy theorist pandering kind of individual, but like I think he's more, to me I thought he was a comedian that was just like trying to be like his character was the zany out there conspiracy theorist stuff, and like there's interdimensional demon, like they're
Oh
turning the
wow.
frogs gay. Like I thought it
Yeah,
was an
they turned
act
the
and a
frogs
joke.
gay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, this is the thing. Like he did this shit jokingly because they were like, there's a chemical they were putting into a water somewhere, and like where this like company was illegally dumping water, it was messing with like the sex cycle of frogs, and they were not like, they were just not attracted to anything, or like when they did get attracted, they got attracted to males because it was like the chemical was messing up like their like the
Um,
process or whatever. Yeah, like, so it was just like this one-off like story or whatever.
I'm
And he
telling
makes
you.
this crazy rant and joke about it. And like I'm though like me, I'm like, okay, this dude's being like jokey about like a news story because I know there's like context here. Everybody that don't have context, there's this crazy dude literally talking about they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the frog gay all over America. And like that was it's a perception thing, right? And so everybody turns on him as like this crazy wingnut. He's a really like I said, he's a really good distraction. He's really good at doing his job, making these people that would otherwise be invested and like could come together and work with us and like be part of a community. No, they got to be fringing out there and think everybody out to get them, so they need 15 guns and like a shack in the woods to hide in when shit goes sideways.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Right? It like to me it's like there's a genuine push to like drive these people out into the woods because they're just tired. Like if you can convince these people of this shit, then they don't need to be around us, so let's just stick them out in the woods. Like I kind of feel like that's what's happening.
Well, listen, if they have a chemical that they can put in the water that messes with the genetics of a frog, What
Yeah,
do you think that the scientists
I'm doing
have
to
been
your
trying to
biological
do
science.
for
Yeah,
people?
yeah. I heard of something called the gay bomb or something. Now I don't know if that's like something that's
That
real or
was an
anything.
actual like back in the day. They genuinely thought they could like basically using like LSD, hallucinogenics, and pheromones and stuff like that. It's a crazy CIA project of like something basically as a counter threat, like like the hardcore religious extremist stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, like say you're in a hardcore religious group and then you drop something on them that causes them all thwacked out on drugs and full of aphrodisiac, and they end up having like a gay orgy. So like, oh god, we can't live with ourselves. We got to like kill ourselves with what. You know what I mean? Like it was a concept in theory. It never actually got done, but it was a genuine
That
like
what that we
a
know
genuine
of. That
project.
we
Like they
know
really
of
it came
never
up to
got
a point.
done. That we know
Oh
of never
yeah,
got never saw the light of day. How many
Right.
projects that weren't supposed to be, you know how many times they told them to stop doing the looking and researching and working on Viagra because it's
a
too
heart attack gun,
dangerous.
the heart attack gun, bro. The CIA literally had something where they had like a neurotoxin derived from a puffer fish that they like would just like hit your. It was like a cap and a bullet, and when it hit your ass, it basically dissolved. It basically you wouldn't feel nothing. Like you hit prick in the neck, and you instantly dead within like 3 to 5 seconds, or whatever the hell it takes for the neurotoxin to hit you, and it like completely like nothing to show that they did it. So you just have a heart attack, diagnosis heart attack
Mm-hmm.
for
Mhm.
for for I want to say 20, 30 fucking years that everybody treated as like a crazy conspiracy until like Congress is like, you got this shit. And they're like, yeah, we got this shit.
Mm.
So you never know what they really got up from my understanding, they got ways to point microwaves at people and like make them throw up and fry their brains.
Mhm.
Or point lasers at windows and like based on the vibration that the glass make, they can like literally know what you're talking about. They don't need to be there listening to you. Like
Mm.
they got shit out there that people don't understand that they all right. Here's one I pray to God they never give to the police because everybody knows military comes hand me down. They had shit where they can point it in your direction, just pointing in your direction automatically picks up what you got going on cell phone wise because it's connected to
Mhm.
whatever cell phone sitting in your lap. I'm like, boy,
Yep.
let them be able to have this
Triggerfish.
mobile wiretap on demand. Oh man, they're gonna be at all kind of houses because they know their wives getting slaved by all them little dealers that they thought they was fucking with.
Mhm.
Also,
Oh
hey,
man.
I'll be in action. I think I'm driving the stream a little long because I think you was trying to close, brother. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything, Kato? Joe, you said everything you wanted to say.
Yeah, I pretty much said everything for the most part. You know what I'm saying? If I say, as far as morality, and I guess honestly, I feel like whether you choose to be the hero, the anti-hero, or the villain, I can't knock you if if your conviction is strong in it. You know what I'm saying? If that's the path you want to choose and whatnot. You know, if your conviction is on par, I can't knock you because I don't know your struggle. I don't know what you've been through, and I can only assume that it's a pretty good or a pretty logical explanation to why you chose that particular path. But I mean, I guess I'm just saying, just stand in your convictions. You know.
Hmm.
I like that one, bro. Like,
Yeah,
Every
that was
For
good.
sure.
every villain has, just like every hero, every villain has his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Every villain was that scared little kid that needed somebody to save him, and nobody came, so they saved themselves.
ain't it though?
Yeah.
And
When you
to
ain't got
those,
nobody, you gotta make it yourself.
and
Cause like
hold on, and those people, and sometimes those people end up becoming very evil people, and sometimes those people become very good people. But what people won't say, and what's the unwritten rule of the world, universe, God's law, whatever you want to call it, that one cannot exist without the other. If there is
Exactly.
no evil, then there can be no good. Because if there was no evil, how would you be able to define good? If there was
Exactly.
no hate, then how would you know love?
True.
If you didn't know pain, how would you know pleasure?
True.
So
duality of man.
instead of thinking about how different we are from each other, we need to start thinking about what makes us the same. And the more we start looking at what makes us the same, the more anti-heroes will create from these villains, because every villain just wants to be loved by those people. I
Would you
mean, you got
say
people who are psychopaths. They care about nobody except that one or two people that
would
they
you
will do
say
anything for.
I want to ask this, but would you say that a villain is simply a anti-hero wait for his opportunity to be an anti-hero?
I would say that a
I say
villain
that
is just a villain. I would say a villain is just a hero to his perspective.
Okay, I like that one. I like that one. I like
because
damn, bro, you're
Yeah,
gonna
that
have to
was
make
it.
me think on that one. Yeah, yeah. Like we were saying, your morality is based on how you perceive what's going on. Like if you think that you're doing it for a moral means to you, you're doing a heroic act. So yeah,
I mean, because even the Joker had some good qualities about him. Even though he did some good.
I mean, look at Harley Quinn. In a sense,
Exactly.
he did save her from like the trap that she had put herself in, or like he freed her psyche that was
Well,
like in the cage.
I mean, I don't even know about that one because honestly, I'm gonna say he actually induced the trauma and then saved her from his trauma that he induced. So, I mean, I'm sorry,
Hey,
but look, I'm sorry,
bro,
look,
He,
I'm
bro.
he
sorry, but you
did.
don't
He
get to
did.
shoot me in the leg
He
and
straight
then nurse me
Stockholm
back to
that
health
woman,
and then be
bro. He
like,
straight
wow.
Stockholm that woman. Damn.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Whew, he did a number on her.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, you can't be the nigga that caused the trauma and
And then be
then
the one that
And
fixed
you
it.
free
try
now.
to
And you
and
free now.
then you know, I can't shoot you in the leg and then nurse you back to health and be like, yeah, yeah, you can't never bring it up. I shot you in the leg. No, I can and will.
Well, I only shot you in the leg because I loved you.
But you still
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
me.
They'll say something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I shot you in the leg because you tried to run away from me.
No, but see, let's get away from the last part of the sentence and just say I shot you, because those niggas be deflecting like a motherfucker. So
What
what I'm
happened
saying,
was,
I simply say that to say broaden your perspective, broaden your
yes, yes.
horizons, taste different food that you wouldn't necessarily taste, just to try something different, because you never know what you don't have. If you, I mean, you never know what you have if you don't use it. If you have a natural talent for fighting games, but you never play fighting games, then you're wasting your talent. If you have a way with words, but you never articulate them or write them down or do something with your words or with your speech, then you're wasting your gift. If you are a leader and you don't lead people into a better lifestyle or a better way of living, a better way of thinking, then you're wasting your gift. So instead of thinking about who somebody else is fucking, like that matters to you, and stop worrying about what all of these celebrities do, because these celebrities, you think that they're all this and that because they have so much money, and inside most of them are traumatized and they hate being with where they are
They're
because they can't even
sociopaths.
live without somebody or take a shit without somebody trying to stand by it and get an autograph,
True.
because you open yourself up to crazy people wanting to to be around you just because they think they know you because they listen to every word you say in your music.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's okay to be a porn star and making the money until you got motherfuckers that's really have no life and really make you think that you're really your girlfriend. And I mean that you're
Also
really their
stalkers.
girlfriend, and they stalk you down, and then they showing up at your house with a knife saying, "Oh, you was fucking somebody else. Time to die." You know what I'm saying? It's all fun and games until you can be a trans, you can be want to be trans until you get there, and then at 60 you realize that you wasted your life because you did something that you can't reverse, and you'll never be happy, all because of how you felt at the time, because you weren't happy within yourself. We need to make sure we square ourselves, and that goes back into since the part two of the stream we had the other day, which was mental fortification. Fortify your mind and your defenses in your mind, so that when people come at you with bullshit, it just gets swatted down, because it's all right. You can talk all the type of shit to a brick wall. You can tell her how much of a bitch it is, how much you don't like it, how much is mother suck cock, whatever. the brick wall gonna stand there. You know why? Because it don't give a fuck what you say. Because it's a brick wall.
True.
Hey, this man preaching over here. Y'all need to like look out. This man literally spitting some guy knowledge right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you say open sesame, then it might open up. But that's a different story.
Hey, bro,
Nah, you gotta
that
knock
only
on it
work
with your
with the.
wand. You gotta knock on it with your wand, and you'll be able to
Right.
go into Hogwarts and shit in Uptown Alley. You know what I mean? Diagon Alley and shit. You know.
Hey yo.
But I'll say that to say, man, I want to wrap everything up. Make sure you focus on you and focus on what you can do and what you can do to improve your gifts and the stuff that you already have. The more you do that, the more happy you will become. And when you become happier, you'll meet more people who are like minded or people who challenge your way of thinking to the point where that makes you grow because that's what we as humans want to do. Everything in life grows and then it dies. You can grow to be a blade of grass or you could grow to be a world tree. It's up to you. And the only way you're going to do that is by adding a little bit of this. The best way to live is to be a jack of all trades and master of none because you always have something to do. Your mind will never get bored because you always have, oh, well, I can do this. Oh, well, I can do that. Oh, well, I can do this. You're constantly busy. You know,
He
and
ain't
then
lying, brother. He ain't lying.
and then you have lists that you can just check off whenever you get to it. But it's like you'll always feel like you're going somewhere. You don't feel
Mhm.
like you hit your goal and now it's nothing else to do. Because that's why revenge is such a negative emotion because once you get it,
Then what?
there's nothing else.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no gratification. There genuinely is like, yeah,
There's no
you got what you
gratification.
got.
You
Like,
feel good.
what did you gain from taking? Like, did you benefit in any way? Did it like positively affect you? No, everything from that's gonna be negative baggage that you're gonna have to carry with you. So there's no way that's a net loss. You can't tell me it's a benefit.
Because no matter what you say, two wrongs is not gonna equal a right.
Hey, and for a lesson, bring you back to where you started. So like, be careful what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. And a lot of times people don't be making no rights. All they do is keep making the same left turns and going in the same circle. They're
Mhm.
that dog trying to catch his tail. And the joke of it is, even if they caught it, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Bite their own ass. That's what they do.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Hurt themselves. See, like I said, all they're doing is hurting themselves.
Man,
That's a good analogy. I like that one.
yeah, man. That's
And
why I
with
actually.
that, I bid you all adieu. Almighty pushing we out this bitch.